It's time to add some spice to your nooner. Nooner funny. This is the place where big-time guests, bold opinions, and little cute doggies come together. This is Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
All right, welcome in to another edition of Rothman and Ice. I'm Matty Ice. CV is on the board doing his thing. And to my right today, ladies and gentlemen, I have the host of the Buckeye Show rocking out with me, Timmy Hall.
You guys.
Timmy?
Ice.
Welcome in, baby. Noon to 3. Got you from noon to 3 today. Happy game week to you, Tim Hall.
Happy game week to you, too. And it's good to always share a talk show with you.
Yeah.
But I feel sad that Anthony is out and still sickly for game week. So he's doing everything he can to get better so he can get back here.
We're going to go right now over to the Woody Hayes Center for Ryan Day and his press conference. Let's go.
This is a live feed of Ryan Day's weekly press conference, sponsored by the Roofing Guys.
Ryan, with the new quarterback starting, I'm sure you've seen it more than anybody. You know what to expect. What will you see from Will on Saturday for your expectations to be met?
Yeah, we want him to run the team and be clean. Get us in and out of the huddle. Get us up to the line of scrimmage. Be sharp. Take care of the football. You've heard me say the term, make the routine plays routinely. Play well in third down, red zone in 2 minutes. I mean, that's what we're looking for out of our quarterback. But in particular, in that first game, it's, run a clean operation. That's ball security, that's cadence, that's communication, the new headset and how we're doing that. And, we are going to be huddling some and those type of things. Not all the time, but that's a little bit different. And, how are we converting on third downs and, all those things, sideline adjustments. So it's getting into the game, getting a feel for it and playing clean. That's what we're looking for in week 1.
Front row, Dave Biddle, 24/7 Sports.
Ryan, is the depth on the offensive line maybe a little better than you expected? I mean, Carson might be a backup for you guys after starting 12 games last year. I know some other guys you mentioned like Austin, Zen have stepped up a little bit. Do you feel good about the depth?
Yeah, one of the things, it was like early on, the little illness that was going around the offensive line was frustrating, but coming out of preseason camp, we felt like we built some depth because we had to, and some guys got forced into duty maybe a little quicker than they had to. And when you're working with the ones, you have to tighten up, all the things technically that you're getting away with, maybe with, the 2s and 3s, when you're blocking Tyleek and Ty and those guys, you can't get away with that stuff. You better figure it out fast. And because of that, we have built more depth than we expected coming out of preseason. So that's been a positive. But we are going to try to get as many guys in the game as possible, grade it, and just keep evaluating. And, one of the things that we talked about as a staff today is, you've heard me talk about building a foundation with this team. I mean, the foundation is not complete. I mean, this is a long build to the end of the season. So we want to come through this week, watch the game, get on the film, and figure out, who graded out a champion, who didn't. But ultimately, we want guys to play really, really hard in this game and get it on film, start to make the corrections. When you're in preseason camp, there's a lot of assumptions you make, some that are right and some that are not right about players, about scheme, overall personnel. So excited to get that going this week and figure out what we got going into Sunday.
Tegra is a pretty soft-spoken guy. How did he take the news that he's going to start on Saturday?
He's just going day to day right now and working. I think that's what's been good about the offensive line is, guys have been, working at it every day, and we've moved some guys around in there. Even as of this past week, we've shuffled it up a little bit just to kind of see guys move in different areas. We know we have to build depth going throughout the season, so I think it's going to pay off for us. But he's been workmanlike. It wasn't like he's knocking on anybody's door and saying, what is my situation this week. He knows that if he continues to play the way he is, he's going to be a starter for us and be a huge contributor. But it's consistent and consistency that we're looking for out of him. But he's been one of the guys that we've been able to count on in this camp, and that matters. When you get 20 some odd practices under your belt and you get the 15 in the spring, those reps add up, and he's been in there now for a while. When you think about the last couple of years, we really kind of got him with the 2s even as a young player, and I think all of that is starting to pay off now for him.
Stephen Means, Cleveland.com.
you've had a starting running back, but you've never really had guys who are co-starters for starters. This was I'm asking, who's going to take the first snap at running back on Saturday?
Yeah, I don't think Locke's decided that yet, but they're both rolling in practice. It's we're going to get our money's worth this week with the Heat, and so we're going to be rolling these guys pretty good, and James is going to get in there as well. So, we haven't really talked about that right now. Those guys are rolling, and they're both going to get a bunch of reps on Saturday.
You mentioned James there. Has he made you guys feel comfortable about where the depth is in terms of who might be the third guy up at running back with the way he's played?
Yeah, I would say James right now is the third running back. He's made some really good strides. Now he's got to go put it on the field and play games, and that's different than just doing it in practice. There's still some things that he knows he's got to improve on in different areas. But in a part of that now is getting in the routine of playing a game and, being consistent over time. And when you're a freshman, sometimes that can be a challenge, making sure you're getting your rest, making sure you're taking care of your body and bringing consistency every week. So that'll be the challenge for him, but he's going to play again a bunch of snaps like a bunch of these guys. Yeah.
Far left, Joe Nugent, WCMH.
With the iPads now on the sideline this year, what type of impact do you think that'll have?
Well, it's the same for both sides. But I think the communication in game will be very, very important in identifying what's gone on in the last series. We did that in the stadium the last 2 Saturdays. We were able to go through and see what it would look like at halftime, what it would look like during the game, up in the booth on the sideline. And, you have an ability to tag certain plays on your side of the ball so that you can all get to it at the same time, identify what those things are, and then make corrections or identify what scheme things are going on. So I think you're going to see, a little bit more in-game adjustments than maybe previously. But, other than that, football's still football. That's not changing.
Fourth row right, Jeff Gilbert, Press Pro.
Coach, in regards to Will and his mental approach, he's in a position of a team of expectations, goals higher than he's probably ever been around. How's he handled that since you named him the starter? How do you expect him to carry that onto the field?
Yeah, I expect him to be the same way he's been since he arrived here. We went through the recruiting process there, and he knew what he was getting himself into here at Ohio State. And not to speak for him, but I think there was only maybe a couple places he would have considered other than going to the NFL, and this was it for him. He wanted to be here, and I think a big part of that is he knew what came with it. And he's really embraced that role. He's been in here getting extra film work in this week already. He's put a lot of work in this preseason. So, we ask our quarterbacks to do a lot here, and he's embraced that part of it. So he's got a good look in his eye this week, and I think he wants to get on the field and get started.
Third row right, Dylan Davis, Delaware Gazette.
Staying with the quarterbacks here, is Devin still firmly entrenched as your backup quarterback right now?
He is, yeah.
Going into the week, how do you want to kind of split those reps there? How quickly do you want to get him on the field?
Yeah.
For that, just kind of feeling out the game.
Yeah, we've talked about that, Chip and I, about, as the season goes on, where do we want to insert him into games? We'll kind of see how the week plays out, but I probably don't see us doing that in terms of the third series or the first play of the second quarter in this game in particular, but it's something that we're considering.
Deep center field, Jeremy Birmingham, the podcast.
Ryan, I know as a coach you're not going to assume anything, but if other than winning and getting out of this weekend healthy, what makes this season opener a success to you as a coach and this coaching staff when you have put all this work in the offseason?
Yeah, it's not easy, but it's simple. You want as many guys to grade out a champion as possible, 80% or more. And you've heard me talk about that before, but sometimes the best answers are the simple ones. Guys, you grade it out, either you did your job or you didn't, 80% or higher. And then, that we are the hardest playing team in the country. That's really, I know nothing's going to be perfect. It's a start. But if our identity is going to be the hardest playing team in the country and we're going to be giving unbelievable effort, we have to put that on film. We got to grade out over 80%. We got to play really, really hard. And that's what I mentioned to the staff today. And that's what we're going to talk about here in the team meeting at 2:30. And that's what we're going to, really be echoing out through all the week, and then hold them accountable on Saturday, and then come in Sunday, identify what went well, what didn't go well, and continue to bang that drum. Also knowing that we're going to have to enhance, our scheme as the season goes on.
Let everyone know that 130 years ago, Akron won 12-6.
I have not.
Far right, Adam King, WBNS.
Well, kind of going off of that, since 2019, this is your first time opening against a non-Power 5 team. You don't have to go on the road against a Big Ten team. You're not playing top 5 Notre Dame. How is that different for you guys to be able to step on the field on Saturday? Not taking anything away from Akron, but knowing, it's not as much of a challenge.
Yeah. For us, it's always been about us. You hear me say that a lot, but you have to really focus on the process of it and like, what are we doing? And, our opponent shouldn't matter. If it does, then we're setting ourselves up for failure. So what is the standard? Again, grade over 80% and be the hardest playing team in the country. And that shouldn't matter who you're playing because, they all matter. They all count. And we're trying to create a standard for ourselves. And, whatever team we play, and then we go from there. So like I tell the guys every day in practice, you're not allowed to have a bad day around here. It's just not allowed. So we have to understand that every time we only get 12 opportunities. That's it. Of all the work we put in and all the time and effort we put in, you get 12 opportunities. So let's go play with our hair on fire and run around and hit.
Dave Holmes, WSYX.
Ryan, we saw the guys wear the Jesus One T-shirts when they moved in this weekend. They had a baptism event. I'm curious. I haven't seen your team this vocal, at least when it comes to faith. What have you seen from them over the weekend, and is that something you feel in the locker room?
Well, I think this team is close. I think when you look at what they've done together as a group, they rub off on each other, and that part of it, that's their own business that they handle. But I think when you start to see and hear some of the messages that some of our team is giving, not only out in the community, but to our own team on campus, those type of things, you just recognize what unbelievable guys we have in our locker room, the type of people that we have. And certainly the academic, what we've done being over a 3.2 for the last, 2 semesters. And again, you're seeing things like this and some of the community outreach. I mean, they care about not only their teammates, but they care about the community. They care about Buckeye Nation. They care about the fans. And these are great, great people. And, a lot of these guys decided, to come back or decided to come here and could have gone a lot of other places, some to the NFL, to some to other schools, but they came here for a reason. And it was to make an impact, and the number one way they want to have an impact is win championships. But there's a lot of other ways to make impacts as well. And they want to continue to do that. So when it's all said and done, there's trophies in the lobby, there's rings to be worn, but there's also people that have been impacted and their stories to be told. And the guy to me that comes to mind with that is Archie Griffin, and now, the statue is going to be in his name here this weekend. But of all the things he's done in terms of winning the 2 Heismans and, all the great history he's had here on the field, to me, it's the impact he's made off the field. And I can't tell you how many people have shared stories with me about, being a young kid who looked up to him and Archie took time, or he went to an event and spoke to folks and he took time. And because of that, he's a legacy. What he did on the field is unbelievable. But to me, he's even more special for what he's done off the field. And I think, our guys have embraced that in the locker room.
Andy Backstrom on 3.
Right, what will it look like for special teams in game? I know you've talked about the strategy, but yes, assistance. Is it going to be different for in game since the coaching changed with that role? Are you going to allow Rob Keys and will they be involved in here?
Very much so. Yeah. So Rob is going to be sort of the ringleader of it all, and I'm right there with him for everything. And we're going to utilize everybody we possibly can. Matt Guerreri is running the punt team. James Laurinaitis is doing the kickoff. Brian Hartline and Keenan Bailey are doing both the return units, kickoff return and punt return. But we got everybody involved. Tim Walton's been a big part of this. Each of the coaches have been very much involved with the special teams here in the preseason. So Rob is the point person. He's the one who's going to help game plan and organize, meet with the individual group. We met this morning with the entire, staff who was involved with special teams, went through the game plan in all 4 phases. But then when we get on the field, I'll be involved in terms of the substitutions, making the calls with Rob, but then getting feedback from each individual coach.
Cameron T. Robinson, The Athletic.
Brian, I know you said you guys had to figure out which running back takes the first snap. When you have 2 guys like this, is it more so seeing which guys in terms of figuring out carries? Is it more so figuring out which guys are the best and kind of go into the flow, or you feel like you have a minimum snap count that like each of these guys can hit? I know you're not going to tell us what that is, but
Yeah.
the idea of that.
I mean, I think you have an idea of how many carries you'd like to see for each guy, but you don't know how it's going to shake, and Locke's going to get a feel for that, and he'll be responsible for handling the substitution pattern there. These things seem to have a way of working themselves out. It seems to be a topic of conversation sometimes, this time of year, like how's it all going to go? I think we get a feel for it, and assess it after the first game. This will be the first time for Quinn Shawn that we've been in a game with him, and it'll be interesting to see, as we go, how he goes as the game goes, and the type of back that he is as the game wears on. But I'm excited to see these guys run.
Far left, Whitney Harding, WCMH.
Ryan, this weekend was an exciting week 0. I don't know if you got a chance to watch any of the games, but with Florida State losing, is that just another reminder that that number next to your name really doesn't mean a whole lot? And have you had any conversations with your guys as a reminder about that?
No, not in particular about that, but I think that's why you hear coaches say, when they talk about rankings, the first thing they talk about is what matters is the ranking at the end of the season, and it's coach speak, but that's a great example. I didn't get a chance to see any of the game, but I mean, I think the first thing that's noteworthy is because of the way college football is now with some of the roster turnover, you may not know exactly what you're getting with each team early in the season. And I think that's significant because, when you look at the roster of some of the teams early on, you're like, okay, where were they last year? Well, this guy came in from here. He came from there. Some guys got older. Some guy maybe didn't play because he was injured. He comes back in, but that roster looks a lot different than maybe it did the year before. So I think, that's something that's noteworthy, but as we know, I mean, you got to bring it every week, and it has, what your ranking is has, no indication of where you're going down the road. What matters is what you put on the field and what you earn.
Real quick, you mentioned the heat. How do you get your guys ready for what's going to be a warm game this week without kind of wearing them out at practice? Not your first time dealing with it, but it's a question.
Yeah, I mean, it's hot all across the country. You know what I mean? We're in the north, so I mean, it's just something you got to learn to deal with, and you got to hydrate really, really well and recover at night and get your rest. But you got to make sure you're hydrating throughout the week. If you think you're just going to hydrate the night before the game, it's too late by then, and then guys start cramping. So we got to make sure that we're all over that and mix all over that, and we hydrate test everybody every day. So we'll do that and just make sure we're on it. But like I said, it's hot. Other places other than Columbus, Ohio, so we'll handle it.
Right next door, Jared Smalley, WCMH.
Hi, Ryan. On the subject of roster management, big picture question here. You now have a general manager, and now that you're into the football season, you're relying on him to do things that are new in that role. Some of the programs like yourself in Alabama have these positions now. Can you walk us through Mark's contribution, how it's evolved in that title, and what that allows you to do in your role coaching the football team through the season? Because there's so many tasks involved. Roster management, understanding how NIL is functioning and who's getting what. How does he help?
How does he help? Boy, that's a long answer. Because first off, Mark is he's been unbelievable to me personally. He's been unbelievable loyal to me and loyal to the program. He is somebody who works really, really hard at his job, and I think he's the best in the business at what he does. And his job has completely changed, even in the last 6 years. He's an excellent evaluator. He does a great job of understanding where the college landscape is going, where it needs to be to adapt. And, he's really had a huge hand in putting this roster together. Now, it used to be the evaluating and then the recruiting part of it, the weekends. But then when you went to official visits in the spring, that completely changed. Now, we've gone from having a couple people on a visit to now having, 15 recruits and their families and you're talking over 100 people for a weekend. And it's almost like event management. There's that part of it. Then there's, the NIL piece of it, and his conversations with agents and, some of the folks in the community, and he's had a huge hand in all of that. So he's, his role has increased and it's become more and more important. And like I said, I think he's the best in the country at what he does.
Steve Hellwagon, 24/7 Sports.
Yeah, Coach, can you give us a breakdown of like Chip Kelly up or down, like how that's all going to look
where the coaches will be stationed and all.
Yeah. His plan is to be up in the box. And, I think for him, being able to get organized up there, he's got the tablet up there, he's got his call sheet up there. He can really, be clean after every series. I think that's one of the things too that he and I were even talking about, is that when you're on the sideline and you're the head coach, you have your call sheet, but it's hard to, get your next series ready when you're doing all these other things. When you're up there, you got a desk, you can sit down, you can get your thoughts organized for the next series. You can go through everything, you can communicate well. And so that's going to be his plan. Tim Drebno will be up in the box with him, Billy Fessler, and Tony Johnson on offense.
Wide receiver, we've asked about a lot of positions, who's starting. I know you were taking the tact of slow rolling the talk about Jeremiah Smith, but where do things stand there at that position with maybe the top three that are going to be out there to start?
Yeah, they're and Brandon Innes is right there. Bryson Rogers, Kojo Antwi, Jaden Ballard. I mean, you'll see all these guys play. I'm excited to see them play. They put in a good preseason and need a couple more days of prep into this first week, but they're excited to get out there just like everybody else.
You think Jeremiah will be out there at the beginning?
Yes.
Okay. Folks, we've got to keep it at one question or we're not going to get everyone in. Pat Murphy, 24/7 Sports.
Ryan, since the 2 losses to last season, it seems like you guys have just been building towards this. And I know you mentioned earlier that this build continues. This doesn't end anything. But to get to week 1, to get to a game, to kind of get back into that rhythm after an off season of talk and whatnot, just how much is there the excitement and getting things rolling?
Yeah, we're really excited. And that's kind of what we said. That yesterday was our first game week practice of getting back on the field and playing games again. It feels like forever since we played a game, and there's been a lot of hard work, mostly by the players, but also by the coach, by the staff, a lot of people involved to, build this team, and Coach Mick and his staff and coaches and, everybody involved, to, put this roster together, to go attack the season. And, I can't say enough about the leaders and the guys in this team who have continued to work hard to get to where we are right now. And now it's time to go put it on the field and play. But now there's a lot of excitement. And, just like, any time around here, everyone's excited about the season. There's a lot of talk around Ohio State football, and that's great. But what matters is what we put on the field and what we do on the field. So, like I said, fired up to get on the field and, get on the film afterwards and figure out where we're at.
Dan Hope, 11 Warriors.
Ryan, with Will having a couple weeks going into the season to be the starter, do you feel like the offense is in a better rhythm than maybe it was this time last year?
We'll see after the first couple of games, but we'll see. I mean, I do feel like we've had some really good days of practice. I feel like we've had a couple really good moments in some scrimmages. Still looking to be more consistent. Where our expectations is my expectations of where we are and where we are right now. We're not close, but I didn't expect us to be either. So it's like I said before about Quinshon. It's the same with Will. Like, we haven't played in a game with Will. We haven't played in a game with Quinshon. So I'm, again, fired up to see what it looks like on the field. But, then get on there and figure out if some of the assumptions we've made are accurate and which ones aren't. And then enhance the things that are going well and fix the things that need to get fixed.
Bill Landis, Kings of the North, the podcast.
Ryan, you and Chip both last, I think it was maybe 2 weeks ago, when Will was named the starter, said that the quarterback is the run game coordinator. And I don't know that I've ever heard you put it in those terms before. So is there anything different that's on Will's plate in that regard, or just what are you expecting him to handle when you say the quarterback is the run game coordinator?
I think it's something that, and it's an approach that Chip's always had, where there are multiple places the ball can go, in particular with, the way that Chip likes to run it and some of the things that we've done in the past with like Justin Fields, where you're reading an end and you have to make a decision. I'm either giving the ball or I'm pulling the ball. There's an opportunity to throw the ball or hand the ball off, or check the play. So, rarely in this offense do you just take the ball, hand it off and move on. There are some that take a deep breath, but I think what Chip is getting at and kind of, the one we say run game coordinator is, the decisions that have to be made. It's not just in the passing game, it's also in the run game, equating numbers, reading players, whether they're linebackers, safeties, or on the line of scrimmage.
Will's handled that pretty well, you think?
Yes. He has, yeah, and he needs to be. I mean, he's got to be an expert. He's got to be the best in the country at that, because if he can do that, then, and again, not extraordinary, just routine plays, making them, then we'll have an opportunity to continue to make first downs. We want to have positive runs and get completions, and that's the focus early on as we get going.
Don Berry, WBNS.
Coach, you've said that you've seen an edge with this club in practice. How important is that? What do you do as a head coach to enhance that? And do you think these guys are ready to play a game now?
Yeah, it goes back to how we practice. And if we're going to play that way, we have to practice that way. And again, this is, age-old commentary, but if we expect to play with an edge, we got to practice with an edge. If we're going to play tough, we got to practice tough. If we're going to, have guys, getting their hands on balls in the back end, then we got to do it in practice. If we're going to have guys finishing down the field, then we got to do that in practice. If we have guys playing, on punt return who are going, 12 seconds on a return rep as hard as they possibly can go, that's got to happen in practice. And so we just continue to create those environments and demand that there's that. Now, for this team, we haven't really had to demand it that hard. I mean, when it's time to go, when you put the ball down, they're going at it hard. But that's our job as coaches, to create that environment, because, as the saying goes, you're going to sink back to the level of your training. And so we have to make sure that happens every day in practice. And, good news is it's been like that in practice, but it's going to continue.
Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
With most of the other quarterbacks, I guess, Justin, with the exception, you had years to build a relationship with them. You haven't with Will. What have you done to kind of hasten that process? And I know he wanted you to coach him hard, and if you could give details of how you've done that, great. But how have you kind of hastened that relationship with him, and how is it right now?
Yeah, I was able to spend a little extra time with him, during the spring, and and I'm right there next to the quarterbacks, and he definitely doesn't have to worry about me coaching him hard. I can tell you that. But I think he knows. I think there's a level of trust there. He knows, what's come before, and we talked about that during the recruiting process. That, like, all right, here's what needs to happen in order for you to get to where you are. And again, I just see the way he's been in the hallways this week. He's been around it. He's studying it. He wants it. So this is just the beginning, but he wants to be a great player, and he knows that if he buys into this offense, he buys into this team, he buys into our culture, that he's going to do that. We've seen, that all and more so far. So again, it seems like, we're never going to get to this first game and get on the field, but it's time to get on the field and go play football.
Austin Ward, podcast.
Ryan, you've talked often about the potential length of the season and needing to build depth. You've been asked about a couple specific positions, but I know they're all different. Generally, do you think that your philosophy to younger guys or building depth, whether that's by design or different game situations, do you think that's going to be different? Do you expect it to be different? What is the planning to build that early in the year?
Yeah, I think that it needs to be a little bit different. I think there's some things we've done in the past that have been really good, and some other things that we probably need to do a little better, but also considering that this is going to be a different season. So I think that leads you to, there's some things that we need to do to make sure. And sometimes, you got to go put them in the game and, kind of hold your breath, but it's the right thing to do, because you just never know how these things are going to go. So, again, whether it all happens in the first game or not, who knows, but philosophically, we got to get guys in the game, and we have to prepare guys to get ready, because, that run down the stretch is going to take everybody we got.
Joey Kaufman, Columbus Dispatch.
Ryan, now that you've had a full preseason run up to practice with the helmet communications and all that, how has that gone? How do you anticipate it just being a factor, and what have you kind of practicing with it?
It's different. Yeah, it is different. And, cutting it off at 15 is significant. Making sure that we have a plan for if it goes out, which can happen at times. When we were in the NFL, I remember that would happen sometimes. You've probably seen it in some of the games where it goes out for 30 seconds, and that can get you out of whack fast. So just those type of communications. But I think it's allowed Chip to communicate in particular situations really well with the quarterback. What's it down the distance? What can we expect here? Those type of things. And then getting feedback from the quarterbacks on, what is too much information. So it's been good, but the day-to-day has mostly been just, in practice, the 2 that we've had were mock scrimmages. We turned it off at 15 to really get a feel for that. So, we'll get the call in early and get them lined up and go from there.
To clarify, will Chip solely be the one talking to Will, or will you be able to talk to
So
him?
I have it on me, which we did the other day, and I just realized that. I said, well, I don't know if that's good or bad for you, but so I do have the ability to get on there and talk to him, but I'm mostly going to let Chip do that.
Any final questions? Tim May podcast.
Thanks, Jerry. Three-parter. Number one, will you watch the Connor Stallions piece tonight on Netflix? Number two, what is your favorite moniker going into this year? Is it Hair on Fire, or is it Leave No Doubt, which you said in Indianapolis, which was kind of stirring, to a certain extent?
Mm-hmm.
And then number three, what do you want most? Now, I'm asking another number three. A lot's being made of the $20 million mark that Ross threw out there and stuff nationally about this roster, but you had a lot of guys come back, et cetera. And just what's your take on that kind of like hanging over this team as it heads into the year?
Yeah. So, no. What was the second question?
What's your favorite moniker? Hair on Fire?
Yeah, I like
Leave
it.
No Doubt.
Yeah, Leave No Doubt is something that when you again look back at kind of where we've been and coming up a drive short, a play short, and you can't leave it to one drive. You can't leave it to one play. You just can't. You have to leave no doubt. And that's it. It's like whether it's a prize fighter going down to, either knock them out or leave it to the judges. You can't do that. And so, that's been something that we've talked a lot about. Mick has hammered it in the off season. We still, break down some of our meetings that way. We have to do that. So, that's probably the one this year that, we've grabbed onto the most. And then, our team, every year the expectations are high. We've talked about this for years, and there's been a lot of teams, a lot of talent, a lot of great teams here. So that's nothing new. And so our focus, and this team has done an unbelievable job of just putting one day in front of the other and going to work. And that's, about to start here. So, I think our guys have had a good preseason. I think they're focused. I think they know what's important right now. And that's what we're going to do. We're just going to focus on trying to play the best game we can on Saturday and build from there. That's all we can do.
You want to talk about the $20 million thing is some people, best roster money could buy type thing and stuff. Does that bother you that that's out there?
Well, I think, sometimes, things are said, but when you look at our guys, they're here because they want to be Buckeyes. They're here because they want to win championships. They're here because of each other, and to see, what they did the other day on campus, to see the impact they're making on people, like, they understand what it means to be a Buckeye. They understand what it means to win a championship here. And that's the most important thing to me. The other part, there's a lot of changes in college football, and we're going to do everything we can to adapt and make sure that we're doing our part. But there's been a lot of hard work to put this roster together, and that's great. That's what we're supposed to do. We're doing our job. But to me, it's about these players, and that's the number one thing for me. And that's what allows me to put 2 feet on the ground every day, is envisioning, these guys and these players, hosting trophies and winning championships. And I think it's the same way with our entire staff.
You've been listening to the Ryan Day Press Conference on The Fan.
Sponsored by the Roofing Guys. For all your roofing, siding, and gutter needs, contact the Roofing Guys at roofingguys.com.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
Ma, the meatloaf!
The Fan.
After I drop the kids off, I have to run across town for a meeting, hit the gym during lunch. Jake has soccer tonight, and Emily has gymnastics? Oh, did I turn on the crock pot this morning?
With a never-ending to-do list, it's easy to forget something important, like setting up a life insurance plan with Schefter Insurance. Your local Schefter agent can show you how to create a safety net for your family. Don't let life get in the way of what's most important. Visit ShelterInsurance.com to learn more. Schefter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Shark Carp and Beam here for our friends at FanDuel. You've heard us talk a lot about FanDuel. It is, after all, America's #1 sports book, but we have something a little different for you right now. Through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV, Bob.
Who doesn't love watching YouTube? Who doesn't love quad boxing? Get 2 TVs going. You don't need some big satellite dish to do it now. You just need to stream it. Then with a YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment. You can cancel anytime, Beamer.
Absolutely can. I had it last year, and I spent all my Sundays on the couch. It's one of the best things that's ever invented. You can quad box any game now, any 4 games that you want on there. Just visit FanDuel.com/juice to download America's #1 sports book. Must be 21 and older. Present in Ohio. Full price of NFL Sunday Ticket will be automatically charged seasonally after free trial. No refunds, terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Dr. Marta Lavelle of Urbana and Darby Dental smiles on having First Bank of Central Ohio as a partner.
It has been great working with First Bank of Central Ohio. They helped me achieve a huge goal, becoming a business owner. The bank made it so easy. They helped me through the whole process. It's been great ever since.
Experience what it's like to be first at First Bank of Central Ohio. Visit fbcentralohio.com for more details. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Remember how that little girl in Poltergeist was in the TV?
They're here.
Yeah? Well, she's actually dead now. It's quite sad. Anyway, watch your favorite fan shows on your TV by subscribing to us on YouTube. Search 971 The Fan. Do it now.
We are Ortho Alliance. Together, we deliver the most experienced orthopedic care near you and throughout Central Ohio. Together, we provide expert care when you need it, with same-day and next-day appointments. We put our patients' care first, from physical therapy to the most challenging joint replacement surgeries. We are JIS Orthopedics, Ortho Neuro, Orthopedic Associates of Zanesville, Orthopedic Foot and Ankle Center, and Orthopedic Specialists in Sports Medicine. And we are better together. Visit orthoalliance.com.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman for the Bath Authority. It's time to make your bath and shower something you really love. Something so great, your singing in the shower comes from a genuine place of happiness. Don't keep staring at that outdated bath, the mold, the mildew, the broken tiles. Every unit from the Bath Authority is custom built. You choose the premium accents and accessories. Right now, get free installation on your new bath or shower, plus 36 months of 0% interest. Visit thebathauthority.com. That's thebathauthority.com. A better bath awaits.
Whether you're tinkering in your garage or tackling big projects, if you know the value of working with your hands, you know Harbor Freight. And you can be confident knowing that at Harbor Freight, you can get quality tools at prices that work just as hard as you do. Because the only thing more satisfying than a job well done is a job well done, well under budget. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Consider yourself a bourbon connoisseur? At Twin Peaks, we are proud to offer an exclusive and extensive collection of some incredibly rare bourbons, whiskeys, and tequilas. Plus, check out our barrel selects that are handpicked by our team and bottled just for you. Cheers!
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
The perfect ratio of sports talk, dogs, pro wrestling, and gambling advice.
It's science.
You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
That you are. Welcome back in. Matty Ice in the building. CB doing his thing. Timmy Hall, host of the Buckeye Show, filling in for AR today. Ice. We're here. The first game week presser is in the books, and we got some things to react to. You know, when it comes to Chip Kelly, new offensive coordinator, he will be upstairs in the box.
Chip in the box.
Chip in the box.
It's my chip in a box.
Coach Day did say that he and Chip have the ability to talk to Will in his helmet, which is for some people,
Oh, yeah.
if you don't know.
Yep.
We've got helmet communication that cuts off at the 15-second mark.
We got iPads.
We got two 2-minute warnings at the end of the second quarter and the fourth quarter. So
How do you like that?
It caught me by surprise. I don't mind it. It just caught me by surprise when I watched Florida State and Georgia Tech on Saturday. Like, oh, yeah, I do remember talking about that and reading about that. So just a lot of different things going on in college football, and the big one is obviously the expanded playoff. So,
right. I love the last year they dropped stopping the clock after first downs that weren't in the final couple of minutes of. Did we do the final couple minutes of the half? Or I think we did, in addition to the final couple minutes of the game. But I don't need to be stopping the clock after first downs all throughout a contest.
I'm with you.
Give me those 2-minute warnings. That helps with some dramatic finishes. You know, if a team gets that one extra free timeout, we know from being NFL, I mean, we all know from being NFL fans for so long, that little extra stop of the clock means everything with your late game strategy to help a dramatic finish out.
No
So I
doubt
think it's
about
cool.
it. No doubt about it. So one nugget there that came out of the presser, Chip Kelly will be upstairs in the box. I know a guy a lot of people were excited to see, Timmy, is wide receiver Jeremiah Smith. And it was confirmed that he will be out there with the ones when the first snap happens offensively for the Buckeyes at 3:30 on Saturday. Jeremiah Smith, the stud wide receiver coming out of the high school ranks, will be out there with the first team unit. Everything that we've heard about this guy from the offseason until this point has been rave reviews about what he brings on the field, who he is already as a guy. The skill set just seems to be absolutely special in the history now of this program, and specifically what Coach Hartline has done over the last few years. Nobody's going to be surprised if we're talking about impactful plays from game one all the way down to the finish line of this season. So if you missed it, it was confirmed that the freshman wide receiver, number 4 for Ohio State, Jeremiah Smith, will be out there with the ones against the Zips.
You know, if I'm going through my 3 things of what I'm most excited to see play out in week 1, it would be, how's Will going to look? You know, what's Will Howard's performance going to look like? And I'm keeping it all to the glitz and glamour things because that's just the way I am. When I want to see something, at least you're not going to know the answer about how dominant this offensive line is until they go to Oregon, right? Maybe Iowa. Maybe Iowa. You could give them something if they have a dominating performance against Iowa, don't give up any sacks, and they pave holes for the running backs. 2 would be those running backs and how Trey and Quinshon Judkins divvied up, and that was talked about today. They didn't show their hands either way as to who would be the starter. Both, I don't know if we will have one. I mean, there's going to be a guy that will be out there first and maybe take the first series, but they're both going to play a lot.
I think I agree wholeheartedly with you. And with the way that this season is going to set up, we just got done talking about the expanded playoff. You're talking about potentially playing 16, 17 games.
You should need them both.
You want those guys as fresh as possible later in the year. And we heard good things in the previous weeks, and we heard good things again today about James Peoples and that he has established himself right now
as the third stringer.
He is the RB3.
Yeah,
so
he's the third stringer.
They have enough bodies there to get through these few weeks and get to that game that you're talking about against Oregon and have those guys hopefully feeling fresh.
But I'm not getting out of the top 3 before Jeremiah Smith and what this guy looks like. What is he going to do week 1, even against Akron, right? Our MAC opponent who we get to see. And that's the thing, too. You know that you're going to win this football game by buckets of points. So how is that going to get distributed? I mean, you were bringing it down, Maddie. Some of the things that we have already been saying about Jeremiah Smith, it's crazy. I mean, the receivers that we have recruited here, and not just recruited, we saw what they actually did. That's more important than what they say about you. You know what I mean? But in that regard, because we've seen what Garrett Wilson turned out to be, we've seen what Marvin Harrison Jr. turned out to be. They are basically saying that this guy, as a high school receiver, as a recruit, better than all of them at that stage. That's how gifted this young man is. I can't wait. I can't wait to see this guy play football.
I love your top 3.
A few days away.
I'm going to add one to your list because I'm with you on that, and it's the Caleb Downs show on defense. Like the new toys,
too.
right?
Yeah,
like so much,
I know.
so much respect,
I know.
so much respect for the vets that are back, right? We know those guys are really good players. Your JT, Jack, Denzels, all those. But when you get that new toy, you know, it's always exciting. So Jeremiah Smith on offense and Caleb Downs on defense. Cannot wait to see those shows. Timmy, let's stick with some presser reaction. We'll come back because
Let's do it.
there are a couple starters named on offense and defense, the offensive line and at linebacker. We'll react to that next. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
We've been your Jackets flagship station since day one. All the goals, all the action, all the memories. Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets, The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
The Columbus Men's Clinic opened in 2014 for guys who get it done. Let's talk, fellas. You solve problems all day at work. You fix your sink when it's broken. But when it comes to ED and low T, it doesn't get done. We get it. You hate going to the doctor, but you're the guy that fixes things. At the Columbus Men's Clinic, there's nothing to fear and no reason to delay. We've been destroying bedroom boredom for a decade. So if you haven't fixed this, call us. When the pills fail, call us. If you feel like you've tried everything, call us. Here, there's hope. From the conventional to the next level. You'll be seen by our friendly, discreet physician who will take the time to listen. Imagine finally taking care of this with no surgery. Imagine going from feeling gray to living life in vibrant color. It's time to be confident. Join the thousands of guys who have found success after walking through our doors. Will you be one of them? Dial 614-300-7400 or go to ColumbusMen'sClinic.com to schedule a $99 male performance consultation, including blood work. Do it for you. Do it for her. ColumbusMen'sClinic.com. Book your appointment now.
Hey guys, it's Timmy Hall, and the sports book at Hollywood Casino Columbus is the place to watch home and away games. So make it your football headquarters and catch every game on 2 massive TV walls with over 12,000 square feet. That's big. And you can join our weekly watch parties with your favorite fan talent. Game-winning bites include nachos, burgers, wings, and more. So this season, make Hollywood Casino Columbus your home for football. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER for help. Must be 21 to enter.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
If you miss a little, you'll miss a lot. Search for your favorite fan shows wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe. Every episode comes right to your phone absolutely free. Modern technology, it's a hell of a thing. Do it now. The Fan.
It's the summer sell down at Performance. Get up to $16,000 off MSRP on new 24 Jeep Wranglers and Grand Cherokees during the Make This the Summer of Jeep event. Performance, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Georgesville, and Delaware.
Not valid on previous sales. Cannot combine offers. Must take delivery from dealer stock 8/20 to 8/31/24.
At Metal Supermarkets, we're all about getting you and your crew to quit in time sooner. That's why our service is a cut above. You see, no matter the project, we'll get you to the right metal, shape, and grade. Cut to any size, ready real fast. And yeah, we'll deliver, leaving plenty of time for the important things, like opening an ice-cold can of aluminum. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience store for metal.
We're dealing at Reichert Ford.
$2,500 low price guarantee.
With our lowest prices and 72-hour exchange policy, you can't buy the wrong car. Thousands of vehicles are waiting at ReichertFord.com. We're dealing.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
At GNC, we know motivation can come from anywhere. You could be at the gym, totally focused on yourself and your own goals. You refuse to be gym-intimidated. Maybe you're on a weight loss journey, a new path to change your life. Nothing's gonna stop you. Or maybe you're putting in overtime on those booty goals. No shame in getting those gains round back. You could just be out to prove that when it comes to pickleball, you are a pickle baller. No matter what motivates you, we have the fuel to keep you going. Fuel your fitness at GNC.
Your local Rite Aid might be closing, but don't worry. It's easy to transfer your prescriptions with GoodRx. First, check prices at GoodRx.com or on our app. Then show your coupon to the pharmacist. It's that simple. GoodRx can save you up to 80% on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, GoodRx is free and it works whether you have insurance or not. Download the app or visit GoodRx.com today. GoodRx is not insurance but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Anthony sometimes likes to sit and stare at his bundle of Emmy Awards. Unfortunately, it's through the glass of the pawn shop. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
Welcome back in. Matty Ice. Timmy Hall, host of the Buckeye Show, in the building today. Happy game week, ladies and gentlemen. Timmy and I were reacting to some of the nuggets coming out of Ryan Day's first press conference of the year. Jeremiah Smith, he'll be out there with the ones. Chip Kelly, he'll be upstairs in the box. One thing that we didn't talk about, Timmy, is sounds like Devin Brown right now is your quarterback 2 going into game number 1. Seemed like it was up in the air maybe a week or 2 ago where they had one of those last scrimmages and Julian and Devin were still duking it out there on the field. But
Julian Sain looks pretty good, right? Everything that we've been able to see and everything that we've heard about that man from Alabama.
Huge recruit, very talented. I know there's some people out there from the national scene that believe he may be the best thrower of the football on the roster right now. So that's something that we will see how that develops starting this week, where some of these guys should be getting in the mix maybe in the early portion of the third quarter and the fourth quarter, to, just based off of how some of these spreads are looking. I looked this morning, and the spread for this one's still 50 in favor of Ohio State at Bet365. Yeah, 50 points right now.
I think the Buckeyes are, I know we'll do that later in the week, but how's that settle for you? 50 points for the first game.
I feel like you get to a point, if you're Coach Day and Coach Kelly and everybody, like, let's just run the clock out and let's just get out of here. I don't know if you're going to be at, pushing the ball downfield a lot, trying to make big splash plays if you're up.
I mean, if you're up by 40,
that's what I'm saying.
Are you
what
still taking shots?
No.
But then again, you start talking about backup quarterback. We know in this town how important backup quarterback is. Yeah. I mean, you won a national championship. The last time you won one here is because you were covered at the quarterback position. So we're going to get to see what Devin Brown has learned and what he's able to do as a healthy quarterback. And because look, we're only going to see him, you'd like to think, early on at least, when the game's decided. So if it doesn't look super clean, you're going to hear a chorus of people wanting to see what Julian Sain looks like.
No question.
As that top backup.
And when you talk about the style of offense we could see this year from Ohio State, been a lot of talk, right, about the run game.
Yeah.
And how the run game could be cooking this year. And
which should suit him.
With Will Howard and his skill set, with his physicality, that can be a good thing, but that can also hurt you, right? When you talk about putting your body on the line sometimes. So to your point.
But it should be interchangeable if a guy like Devin comes in and runs basically the same system.
No question.
But they could get banged up,
right? They could get banged up, right? Because that's something I think they absolutely will use and should use down in the red zone with what Will has shown throughout his career. I know he talked about he slimmed down. Everybody's been talking about how fast he's been running, north of 20 miles an hour and all that. So it'll be a nice weapon for them to have there. So Devin Brown's your QB2 up front. Look, we can talk all we want about the potential of this offensive line in the run game and how good that's going to be. But that's the most important piece, I believe, to this year is going to be the consistency of the offensive line. I got high expectations for this defense. I know that the skill players on both that running back room and the wide receiver room are legit. Quarterback play, I think, absolutely will provide a safe floor for them this year. But that offensive line could be an issue. I'm not saying it will be. We just have to see. Tegra Tshabola today was named your starting right guard. So there you go. You got a guy coming in who can go into Saturday knowing that I'm the guy at right guard. Donovan Jackson will be down there. Seth McLaughlin, we know, is a transfer they brought in from Alabama. So the offensive line now, Timmy, seems to be set. And that, to me, is something I will monitor. You brought up a good point. Not going to feel much resistance, I don't believe, in the next couple of weeks. I don't think that'll show itself until Iowa.
Yeah, probably not the first month, right? Even against Marshall coming back after the bye.
I agree. Yeah. So that's going to be the one thing. If we talk about some bumps in the road for Ohio State this year, is it could be the offensive line. But I like that they're going into Saturday with guys that they believe in. And Coach Day said today that Tegra's been, quote, one of the guys that they can count on throughout camp, or did count on throughout camp. So that's good to hear.
I was watching some of his high school footage just recently.
Yeah.
Tegra Tshabola we're talking about now, starting right guard, who is basically the last chip. So you're looking at Josh Simmons, from left to right. Donovan Jackson, who's a stud, we know, and needs to play like a stud. I think that's important for Donovan Jackson to really look like the meanest dude out there, being a first-team AP All-American in the preseason. That's a big deal, right? Seth, you mentioned, and then Josh Fryer as the right tackle. But Tshabola, it's been a road for him to get this spot. Yeah. It's a big deal. It's a big step that he has. He only had 32 snaps last year. That's surprisingly low, right? That's not a lot of football.
Yeah.
Even as a backup, right? You figured like some blowout games or an injury occurs, you get in there and get some reps, but that's not a lot. So for him to be starting for the first time, I think that's a big deal. And I'm sure it was a learning curve because when you're that massive man in high school, you just have the guy on the other side. You might have 180 pounds on that dude.
Yeah.
And you're just bearing him into the turf and then pancaking him on top. So I'm sure it was a curve, but now he's got it. And what's this guy going to look like week in and week out?
And he's been getting some good looks in practice, too, I'm sure, from Jack and Tyleek and Ty Hamilton and all those guys, too. That good-on-good stuff that you get in practice. Got to
build you up.
I think is very valuable as well. Quickly, before we go to break, Sonny Styles has been named the starting will linebacker. So that's going to be exciting to see, too, is his transition from safety to LB with those physical traits that he has. Congrats to him on winning that job as well. So there's some reaction to the presser today. When we come back, Vegas, Timmy, they've got their eye on who they believe are some of the favorites to win the Bear Bryant Award, which is the College Football Coach of the Year Award. Where does Coach Day stack up on that list? We'll tell you next. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
We know everything about you. We know you love the Buckeyes. We know you love the Jackets. We know you're wearing a red shirt. I just freaked the hell out of someone. The Fan.
We're dealing at Reichert Nissan. Hundreds of Nissans in stock, on the ground, and priced to sell fast. Low lease payments on brand new Reichert Nissan Sentras, only $219 a month. Now we're really dealing. With our lowest prices and 72-hour exchange policy, you can't buy the wrong car. Visit the Reichert Mega Mall off 270 and 33, or shop thousands of new and certified used at ReichertNissan.com. We're dealing.
With approved credit. 2024 Sentra SV FWD 36-month lease with $3,000 due at signing. Offer ends 9/3/24.
Common Man here for Care Heating and Cooling. Weather is unpredictable, but the inside of your home should be comfortable just the way you like it. And the best way to avoid those unnecessary surprises is with a care plan. See, with a care plan, you get priority service, system maintenance in case of an emergency. Just another way to give you and your family peace of mind. And maintaining your systems properly can help save you money. A properly maintained furnace and air conditioner run more efficiently, reducing your utility usage. Regular maintenance also prevents breakdowns and extends the life of your equipment. I'm on the care plan, and I'm quite the expert. I'll stop by and give your system a once-over. I will. Don't tempt me. I end every commercial the same way, telling you to hire Care when you need a company you can trust. It's not just a slogan. That's the Care creed. How about this? Lennox. They have thousands of dealers nationwide. HVAC royalty. Last year, Lennox gave Care their coveted Partner of the Year award because they're trusted by their customers and their partners. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING or book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com when you need a company you can trust.
Look what we have here. It's the refreshing deliciousness of a Pepsi mini can. It's the perfect complement to any meal. The dash of indulgence your day was dreaming of. The sip that'll have you singing Pepsi.
Nope, not again, Steve. Let's take a cue from the Pepsi mini can and pack all that awesomeness you're feeling into a much smaller treat for everyone. Deal?
So, big awesomeness, smaller size. I think I've got just the thing.
Pepsi mini can. Mini can, big taste.
It was the clues these victims left behind that led police to their killers.
How I Caught My Killer. The true crime phenomenon returns.
We lifted that floorboard up. Lo and behold, a trench.
With 10 all-new episodes.
Because of the screenshots he left behind, he was a hero.
It's like she was calling out to us from the grave.
I couldn't believe it.
We were shocked.
I see this. He just recorded his own murder.
We got a serial killer off the street.
How I Caught My Killer. Now streaming only on Hulu.
Now your ideas don't have to wait. Now they have everything they need to come to life. Dell Technologies and Intel are creating technology that loves ideas, loves expanding your business, evolving your passions. We push what technology can do, so great ideas can happen right now. Find out how to bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to Now.
Men, if erectile dysfunction is affecting you, getting treated could have a dramatic impact on your relationship and your outlook on life. But it's also important where you get treated because your health matters. And working with an organization that practices excellent medicine and has significant expertise in men's sexual health can often result in a far better outcome. This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health. And if you're seeking a quality provider to treat your ED or are just not satisfied with your current situation, call us. We'll show you a true 5-star experience and work with you to find the right treatment for your specific medical situation. At Tri-State Men's Health, we truly are experts in men's sexual health. But it's more than that. Unlike the online pill pushers or so-called men's clinics that only offer one or a few treatment options, we offer the full spectrum of ED protocols. We can even use combinative therapies for better results. At Tri-State Men's Health, your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Ryan Baker. Ryan Day just had his first weekly press conference of the season. He was asked right away if he had a starter at right guard.
We'll keep looking at it this week. I think we're going to probably roll a bunch. It looks like going in that, Tegra will start at right guard for us. He's had a good preseason. He's done a nice job. We'll continue to assess it, all the way up into the game time. But, he's earned the right to start in this game.
He also said that Sonny Styles will start at linebacker, J.J. Smith at wide receiver, and Chip Kelly will be coaching up in a box rather than on the field. The Guardians and Reds both in action tonight at 6:40. Progressive Field, Cleveland hosts the Royals. Gavin Williams takes on Michael Lorenzen. After an off day yesterday, the Reds host the Oakland A's. No word on a starter for the Reds. This one's sponsored by Valley Ford of Columbus, Central Ohio's F-150 truck headquarters, and the official dealership of Ohio State wide receiver Carnell Tate.
Like trying to snap a picture of Bigfoot. Nobody has ever witnessed Maddie eating a carb. This is Rothman and Ice.
Welcome back in. Matty Ice. CB on the board, Ryan Baker on the update desk, and Timmy Hall. Timmy Hall, host of the Buckeye Show, in the building today. Hope you guys are having a nice start to your Tuesday. Happy game week. Thanks for joining us. Bottom of the hour.
We're here.
We will break down the Browns and a little Buckeyes with our guy Tyvis Powell, the People's Champ. We'll do that every Tuesday. Bottom of the third hour, 2:33, we'll talk to Austin Ward, one of the best beat writers out there when it comes to Ohio State. We'll chop it up with him about his thoughts on the presser. And
what a friendly show.
Those
are some friendly faces, friendly voices there. Man. Tyvis and Austin. I can get used to those guys.
No doubt about it. Can you get used to Connor Stallions? Because this guy...
I've seen just about enough of this guy.
You're going to see a lot of his name popping up over the next 24 hours because if you weren't aware, there is a Netflix documentary called Sign Stealer, and that dropped, I believe, somewhere between midnight and 2 a.m. today. So it's available. It's available for you on Netflix. Timmy, I have not tapped into this. I will do this tonight, but I've seen some of the clips and some of the quotes, and Connor Stallions is saying, I did not obtain signals through in-person scouting. There's some other stuff out there. An NCAA investigator asked Steins if he ever directed anyone to attend a game in which Michigan wasn't competing. His quote was, "No, I don't ever recall directing anyone to go to a game." So that's some of the quotes.
I don't recall.
Yeah, that's just a bunch of crap.
I don't recall if I was at Central Michigan. What kind of...
What are we doing?
What kind of phrasing is that? Either you were or you weren't. You're a young man, all right?
He remembers.
You're not forgetting things. You're not in your 90s where dementia is starting to come into play.
Yeah.
Well, the scene that happens after that in the documentary, just a quick sneak peek, is they cut to an interview with Barstool Sports leader Dave Portnoy,
right?
Where he admits that Connor admitted to him that he was the guy at the Central Michigan State game.
And is proud of it, right?
Of course he was.
In Portnoy. It's all
he's a Michigan
big
guy, right?
joke.
Did he graduate from Michigan?
He did go there,
He graduated from Michigan. So
they're proud of this.
Listen, I'm not going to be surprised by anything that I hear tonight when I sit down and watch this. I'm not going to be shocked when they continue to kick the can down the road or deflect or however you want to label it. Do I know everything that happened, Tim? I can't sit here and say that I do. But based off of everything that we saw where the video started to come out and the videos of him at Central Michigan, the sideline videos we had of him being on the sideline next to Harbaugh and the defensive coordinators, and the quick reactions they had when they saw the signaled them back to their players right before the snap, and all of those things. Like, I know what time it is and what time it was with what they were doing. Michigan fans probably don't care because they say, you know what? We went undefeated. We won a national championship, and we will always remember that. But when it comes to this Netflix documentary, I would be blown away if there's any admission of, hey, you know what? I'm the guy who did all this. I cooked all this up myself. He's not going to do that. This is who Michigan has been under Harbaugh's watch, and they're going to continue to deflect.
I will just say, you know, a Tatgate scandal feels a hell of a lot better than something like this that affects the actual confines of the game, and you trying to skirt rules and take advantage of something as far as a competitive advantage, something that's off the field and you getting some extra bucks or some goods or some merch. That has always been the world that we live in, and that has always been big time college sports. Right?
That's appetizers to this.
That's just guys trying to get what they feel like what they're worth.
Yeah.
You know, that's got nothing to do with in between the lines. How are we trying to compete? What are we trying to look and do that is across the line, that is over the line? And that's what you got here. And look, I got a feeling that if you're going in to watch this night one, I might need another reason to reactivate my Netflix account, because I don't know if I can do it just for this. I still haven't seen the Tom Brady roast. So could I?
Oh, you got to get into that.
Could I watch that? Could that be my reason? Because I need to make this like 4th or 5th down the list that I watch, because I think you're going to feel dirty, not just as an Ohio State person, but you're just going to feel dirty watching this doc, because this guy is just a phony. I think he's just a loser.
He absolutely is.
What if I told you? Maybe this is a tease. What if I told you the Ohio State fan representative on this documentary goes by the code name Brohio?
Yeah.
It's going to be wild.
We got Brohio. We got Connor Stallions laughing about whether he's the guy on Central Michigan sideline saying, I don't know if this looks like me at all. It's like, I don't recall being there. And he's smiling while he's answering the question.
Timmy,
Give me a break.
Sit down with the wife, too, and fire up, Too Hot to Handle. That'll be worth your time on Netflix.
Too Hot to Handle.
Too Hot. It's a dating show on Netflix.
Okay. I bet CB is very much into this.
It's a wild ride. It's absolutely a wild ride. You can, that's worth the price right there.
Too hot to handle.
Yeah. So listen, there you go. If you're interested, it's available if you have Netflix. The Netflix documentary is called Sign Stealer, and it's probably Connor Stallions trying to sell us a whole bunch of you-know-what. So I'll watch it tonight just because, feel like it's required of me to do it based off of what we do. But my expectation level for this is very low. Very, very low.
I don't recall losing to Michigan.
Tells me everything I need to know right there. It's just like, you don't recall. Come on, man. Come on. What are we doing?
I hope he loses his job as a high school coach.
I don't care what happens to him, honestly.
He's never
so out of sight, out of mind for me. I don't care.
He's not making his way back. He never even coached in college football. He's not ever going to make his way back to being a college football coach.
Who would want him?
It doesn't seem like it.
You'd be a fool to hire this man again.
No, you can't. I mean, that was the first high school, right, where he apparently had a gig there and wound up at the second place because people found out, oh, you're that Connor Stallions. You're the guy that was helping steal signs from Michigan. Oh,
yeah,
no,
good.
Thank you. Yeah. We're good here.
We're good.
We don't need that publicity.
Speaking of coaching, let's talk about some coaches that actually are going to be coaching on Saturdays that we care about around the sport of college football, because Vegas has released some odds, Timmy Hall. They've released some odds for the Bear Bryant Coach of the Year award. Dan Lanning is your leader in the clubhouse at plus 700.
Not a surprise. Billy Napier is probably not second.
Billy Napier is up against it.
Yeah.
You talk about a seat that's hot right out of the gate.
This seat's a little hot.
And their schedule.
Good odds, though. Good value.
Very good. Very, very good value. But Florida's schedule, they did them absolutely no favors. I mean, their schedule out of the gate, you get a rivalry game this weekend against 19th Miami. Then in 2 weeks, you'll take on Texas A&M. You have to go to Tennessee. You host Georgia. You have to go to Texas. Your final 4 games for Florida are 5. You host Georgia, you go to Texas, you host LSU, you host number 6 Ole Miss, and then it's at Florida State in another rivalry.
They have 8 ranked opponents.
At least out of the gate.
So he's fired. So he's done.
Yeah, I would not be surprised.
I wouldn't sprinkle
if
any
that happens.
the plus 20,000, whatever he is for winning Coach of the Year, but
not
no.
worth it.
Where's our man Ryan Day on this list?
Ryan
Second,
Day.
third?
No, he's not. He's pretty far down the list.
Really?
So you'll get Ryan Day at plus 1,200.
Okay.
I'll hit you with the top 5 here. So it's Dan Lanning, plus 700, as I mentioned. Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame, plus 800. Steve Sarkisian and Kyle Whittingham both, and Kalen DeBoer, plus 900. Then you get to Lane Kiffin at 10-1, Mario Cristobal at 11-1, and then Ryan Day at 12-1, tied with Kirby Smart.
Tied with Kirby. I was wondering. So typically when you're talking about Coach of the Year, you aren't necessarily getting the absolute best coaches out there, because once you establish yourself, especially like Kirby, and you've won the national championship a couple times, it's harder for you to win that award, right? Coach K could hardly ever win these awards.
Urban Meyer
in the ACC. Urban Meyer, did he even win a Big Ten Coach of the Year? Maybe he got one.
Maybe?
By the time it was done.
There wasn't a lot of them, though, but you could have made a case for him a lot of years that he could have brought it home.
When you have the roster that's stacked like that, they tend to look at that Kyle Whittingham type of guy. That's why when you see Utah, even though Utah's got some expectations now, I think they're picked to win their conference, but they still don't have that same kind of feel like those other big-time college football programs. That's where a guy like that gets helped out in winning Coach of the Year awards. I wonder how many Kyle has won, like the National Coach of the Year awards. I bet he's got at least 2.
He's always had a consistent
in his
program. The Big 12 is supposed to be a mess this year as far as potential teams that could win that conference this year. I was looking at Bet365 this morning, Timmy, and there's 5 to 7 teams right now. There's 8 teams that have 12-1 or better odds to win the Big 12. So it doesn't feel like a great bet to bet on Kyle Whittingham, just because there's so many guys that could do that. And what do they got to win? 10, 11 games probably as a floor for him to bring that home and win the conference there. They've won 10 games 2 out of the last 3 years. Good program, and they could find themselves with one of those top 4 buys. But I wouldn't.
I would go another Big 12 guy that I didn't hear you mention that would probably not be too far down that list, and that would be Lance Leipold at KU. That's a top
Jayhawks, baby.
Look, he got the Jayhawks ranked in the top 25 preseason poll. They won 9 games last year, and they haven't even had their stud quarterback, who was supposed to be the whole reason for them turning this thing around.
Jalen Daniels.
People don't forget, he hadn't really played for them. They've been using backup quarterbacks, and they've still been building the program, which makes sense. They should have always been somewhat decent, but they've sucked for the last 15 years. He would be someone. I mean, if they win 10 games and win a bowl game, shoot, if they get to the Big 12 championship, that would be a guy that's in a prime spot to win that award.
I agree. CB, you had some info for us on Coach of the Year?
For the Big Ten Coach of the Year. So I can tell you the last time the Ohio State coach won it was Ryan Day. He was tied with PJ Fleck in 2019. Can you tell me, quiz kid time, can you tell me the previous time before Ryan Day's award in 2019, the last time an Ohio State coach won it?
Oh, my God. Well, the way you say that makes me think that Urban did not win it. So, what is it, Earl Bruce?
That's exactly right, 1979.
Wow.
1979.
Woo!
Yeah, it's just Ohio, especially in this year for Ohio State, the narrative around them already is, just about how elite they should be. It's going to be hard for him because if they win it, people are going to say, well, you're supposed to do it with the roster. I'll tell you what, Marcus Freeman's not a bad bet because
that one's pretty good.
They get this win on Saturday against Texas A&M on the road. You take a look at the Irish's schedule. It's not too daunting. I mean, there's only 2 more ranked opponents on that schedule, and one of them is Florida State, who we watched lose to Georgia Tech, and they have a standalone game coming up on Labor Day on Monday. So when you get to that point, who knows what Florida State's going to look like.
They need to make it to at least the semis, possibly to the national championship game.
And then it's the regular season finale with their rival against USC. So outside of that, there's a bunch of home games, a couple of neutral site games for Notre Dame, plus 800 for Marcus Freeman. I do like that for him to win Coach of the Year, and especially if they get off to a hot start going down a tough environment this Saturday night against the Aggies.
Yeah,
Texas A&M.
No, he's not a bad play. He's not a bad play. But again, if you're giving advice to someone, wouldn't you be the pick down the list a little bit and
Mario Cristobal
try
would
to
be Mario Cristobal would be the one.
Just try to diagnose that, top 15-ish team or someone in the top 20 who can make a big run and be sort of that unsung hero. Because if you do a lot with less, then you have a much better chance of catching that award. Because a guy like Dan Lanning, too, Oregon's picked to finish top 2 or 3.
I don't like
They're picked to be a college football playoff team in the top 4 seeds, too.
I'm with you. I don't like spending my money on that. I do like Mario Cristobal at 11-1, Timmy. Miami comes in 19th in the country right now in the first AP poll, and I think they can win that conference this year. So I'll go with Mario Cristobal.
This stain on them, though, where they just can't be back. We
were saying that about
they just can't be back.
We were saying that about Texas, and now they are. So I think with Cam Ward coming in and some of the transfers, I just like what they're cooking in the ACC. Doesn't look too scary of a conference.
Yeah. No, it never is, right?
Coming up, Jerry Jones. He's heard the noise. He's heard the noise about the Cowboys all season, and he's clapping back at all the critics. We'll let you know what he had to say next. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
No hot takes, no dancing, plenty of stupid. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey, it's Anthony here for my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. Rich is rolling out all of his new Hondas at 2.9% up to 60 months. Just not including the Civic Si and Civic Type R, but all the other awesome new Hondas, 2.9%. You love certified? He has the dream deal. 0.99% APR for 36 months on the 23s and 24s, Civics, HRVs, CRVs, pilots, and passports. When you think Honda, you have to visit Germain Honda of Dublin, Sawmill Road, just south of 270.
Our nation's veterans put everything on the line to defend our nation. They're heroes. And when they need help, Congressman Mike Carey fights for them because he cares about America's veterans.
My name is Thomas Rand, and I put my life on the line serving our nation in Vietnam. But when I needed help with an outstanding disability claim, the VA wasn't there for me. But Congressman Mike Carey had my back. Because of his hard work, my claim was approved, and I got the help I needed. I'm thankful for Congressman Carey. He cares about our veterans.
Mike Carey will always fight to help our nation's heroes. If you're a veteran who needs help navigating government services, programs, and grants, call Congressman Mike Carey's office at 614-927-6902 or visit carey.house.gov. Paid for with official funds from the office of Mike Carey.
Dormar, you're kind of hero.
Dorn, what's that guy yelling about in my noisemaker?
Dormar, you're kind of hero.
You're climate hero, you fossil.
What's a climate hero?
That's Dormar, our same-day heating and AC company we've used for 60 years.
Who?
Dormar, you're kind of hero.
Come on, Dad, you laugh every time you hear their tidy-whitey commercials.
Yep, those are funnier.
Dormar, you're kind of hero.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place.
Pella has forever been known for the best of windows, Wilson, but our doors just as game-changing.
Yep, same with us.
We've got traditional and modern options, but also some really innovative stuff, like big, bold colors or tuck-away sliding doors.
But do you have the give it a little kick to open it door?
Does that mean what I think it means?
Yeah, you got to give it a good little kick to open it.
Get the windows and doors that Columbus homeowners rate the leading and most trusted. PellaColumbus.com.
We don't talk about politics on The Fan. Instead, we welcome Buckeyes fans, NFL fans, and anyone looking to escape the never-ending cycle of misery. You're safe here, friends. The Fan, home of the Buckeyes and Ohio's politics-free destination.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail's 5. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio.
Swimming is a great way to exercise and spend time with family and friends. Always swim with a buddy, keep an eye on children, and be prepared in an emergency if there is no lifeguard on duty. The next time you go to the pool, be water smart and know where the safety equipment is located. Complete the Ohio Department of Health Safety Equipment Scavenger Hunt and learn more about pool safety at odh.ohio.gov/swim. Have a safe swim.
Healthcare.gov is here for you when life happens.
If you lost your health coverage because of turning 26, going off Medicaid, leaving your job, or moving, you could be eligible to enroll in new coverage now. And if you need to update your coverage because of marriage or having a baby, you could also be eligible. But don't wait. There's a limited time to enroll. Check your eligibility at healthcare.gov today. Life happens. Get covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
2 hours ago, Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers!
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Man, is it hot out there today or what? Going 98 degrees for the high. Heat indices close to the 105. Just as hot tomorrow, going sunny with a high around 97. The difference, though, between today and tomorrow is that I do expect a few late-day showers or thunderstorms on Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365 is the exclusive online sportsbook of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
It's Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
Welcome back in. Happy game week. Matty Ice. Timmy Hall, host of the Buckeye Show, in the building today. For our guy, AR. Bottom of the hour, Tyvis Powell. We'll break down the Browns with him. Some interesting nuggets coming out of their building today when it comes to their quarterback room. So we'll get his take on that and a lot more. Timmy, you heard there right before the break how hot it's supposed to be the next couple of days. Timmy Hall's favorite cooling down treat or drink on a day like today is what? We going ice cream? We going a beverage? What's your favorite when I throw that at you?
I tell you, the new Buckeye Show sponsor is Coors Light. And I'm not just saying this, but when those mountains are blue, that is one of the best, tastiest treats that you can have. And especially
that can open.
The can is, it's always been a nifty can because it's not the same type of width. That Coors Light can is a little bit taller than a standard 12-ounce can, so they try to separate themselves like that. And they're the Silver Bullet beer, which kind of goes hand in hand with Buckeye football being the Silver Bullets, right?
Yeah.
But they've got that cold pint can as well, where it's like the aluminum bottle. That's fun. And for domestic beer, it's always been the one that I would still get I get a hankering for.
Okay.
Like long day at work, just want to go home and see those mountains blue and crack that thing open,
I'm not mad at it. Coors Light, they took care of us. They got the studio looking nice. You watching us on
they
YouTube
got the
right
tube
now.
Sponsorship.
You'll see the tube sponsorship going here. No, we are not drinking on the air. That's not happening.
No, I just got
just props.
This is a water cup. All right?
These are just props. I promise you. I absolutely promise you that.
Ice cold water in here. That's all that it is.
It's going to be.
Or is it?
It's going to be cooking. It's going to be cooking this week. And then Saturday is supposed to, we'll take our foot off the gas a little bit there. Low 80s to mid 80s. Be fine to get out there and tailgate and, like you said, crack open some Coors Light.
All right. So, what's your ideal football temperature day? Describe everything down to the air quality.
So I would like a 3:30 kick, and I want the high to be 70.
Wow.
I want the high to be 70 because I want to be able to get up, maybe have on a light jacket with some shorts, T-shirt underneath, get to the tailgate. If it warms up a little bit, we can go T-shirt and shorts the rest of the day. I know
you like that,
love the combination.
Peel off the jacket.
Absolutely.
You like to show up with the jacket.
Yep.
And for the rays of sunshine to come out just so you can get a little warm here. I think I might take this jacket off.
That's where I'm at.
You do like that.
3:30 kick for me. That way we can get out of there about, 6 o'clock, 6:30 if it's super long. Then you got the night in front of you as well. So I'll go 3:30 kick, high of 70, low in the morning of about, let's go 55 to 60.
Oh, man.
That's the ideal day for me.
See, I like to wake up early when it's still dark, and I want to have to reach for my puffer jacket.
Okay.
Because the puffer jacket, it's lightweight. It actually works anywhere between 30 degrees, like even below freezing, all the way up to, it's high 50s because it's a lighter weight thing. So I want to be in my sweatpants, grab that puffer jacket, feel nice and cozy, take the dog for a quick walk, come back in. We're not even going to get into the 60s. We're going to have a high of about 54 degrees.
Okay.
High of 54, low winds. Call it, 3 to 5 miles an hour out of the southwest, and you're not going to get a single ray of sunshine the entire day.
It's cloudy.
And you're going to want to get home from that football game, or maybe even before the game even starts. You will want to put a pot of chili on that stovetop or in the crock pot. It's just going to be begging for a pot of chili because that cold, crisp football air is here.
Can I get a sliver of cornbread with my chili as well?
Yes.
Sweet cornbread. I need sweet. None of that jalapeno cheddar.
No.
No.
Oh, I was going to throw that. I was going to throw that out there.
We do Jiffy at the Hayes household. Sweet Jiffy cornbread. That's what we do.
I do Jiffy mix. That's all I ever use. But you could also throw a couple fresh jalapeno in there and cheddar that up. But I make a regular batch for you. Because I got the Jiffy Mix. I always have 2 boxes of Jiffy Mix in the cabinet at all times.
See, my problem, too, when it comes to the chili, Timmy, is I'm not a beans guy. And I know that's a difficult thing to pull off because there's people like, well, you might as well just eat meat sauce. Like you're eating spaghetti without the beans. But I'm like, no, obviously there's.
Do you like the peppers and the onions?
I love
and all that
stuff.
There you go.
I'm out on beans. Like when I go get Mexican, no beans.
Really?
Miss me with all that. I want no beans. Like my fajitas. You
can't just do a black bean?
No,
I
can't do it.
There's a much different consistency when you're talking about the black beans, the pinto, and then the refried. I've never been a refried beans, like the mashed up one.
I can't even get over the look.
The other.
The look of refried beans?
I'm with you.
Can't do it.
We can agree on that, but I definitely like to have the black beans and the dark red kidney beans in my chili mix.
Now, I will say this, and this is going to, conflict what I just said. I'm all in on baked beans at a cookout, though. I can do baked beans, like with a hot dog and some pasta salad, potato salad. I can do those
If you have brisket, don't you love some of the barbecue joints that mix the brisket into the baked
maybe
beans?
Some of those bacon slices in there, too.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. That works for me. But when it comes to chili, I can't do it. What you laid out for me, though, is a great day. Because there's nothing like when you come home and you just got, even if it's like tortilla soup for me, and you get some of those tortilla strips in there with the chicken tortilla soup.
Yeah.
Some of that cheddar cheese on top of that thing.
So is that what your sort of football chili substitute would be? If you're not really the pot of chili guy, you probably. I know you love wings. I know. I mean, who doesn't love chicken
But if
wings?
we're staying in the soup realm, I'll probably rock out with lobster bisque if I can do that. That's number one on my power rankings.
What about a crab bisque for some Baltimore football?
I'm absolutely in. But lobster bisque for me, I love that stuff, man. So I'll probably go lobster bisque, chicken tortilla soup, and then chili for me.
I don't understand people that don't like shellfish. I don't understand people that don't like lobster.
Oh, my
the preeminent shellfish. Yeah, it's too rubbery for me.
No.
What are you talking about?
Load me up.
Dip it in butter and put a smile on your face.
We used to do that as a family. Everybody come over, put all the newspapers on the table, dump the crabs there.
Crab feast time.
You have your own little
Uncle
bowl
Ted's.
of butter, Old Bay seasoning, and let's rock out. That's where I'm at.
I drink Old Bay seasoning.
Oh, my goodness. Old Bay on your french fries. You do Old Bay on your french fries.
Eggs.
With a little garlic aioli on the side. Trust me.
Now we're getting into some of those Restoration Hardware type of fries.
There you go.
Aiolis.
We're going to get into some Browns talk next with our guy Tyvis Powell. Breaking down the Browns is right around the corner. Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
We used to have a billboard with our host's face on it, but only ugly people work here now.
You mama say you ugly, hey!
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
With Tire Discounter's new TD Chat BS, we can detect deception over the phone. Let's call a typical tire store.
Yellow, cheapo tire where we bolt them on for less.
Yes, I need tires and lubricant for my vehicle.
Great, come on in, we'll slap on some new tires.
And what about the lubricant exchange?
Oh yeah, we send you over to Ollie's Oil for that. They're right down the road.
Deception. Destination is 5.2 miles away.
Well, I'll be.
Also, 6 out of 10 cars need alignment.
Well, just travel on over to Alignments or Us.
Calculating time for 2 additional trips.
You mean you want to do tires, oil change, and alignment alignment all in one fell swoop?
Oh, I observed that Tire Discounters, the home of free alignment, is close by.
Ugh, Tire Discounters.
And they are experts at oil changes, brakes, shocks, and...
I'm losing you.
Hello? I'm sorry. Your system has crashed.
Don't miss our Savor the Summer sale, now till Labor Day.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman for the Bath Authority. It's time to make your bath and shower something you really love. Something so great, your singing in the shower comes from a genuine place of happiness. Don't keep staring at that outdated bath, the mold, the mildew, the broken tiles. Every unit from the Bath Authority is custom built. You choose the premium accents and accessories. Right now, get free installation on your new bath or shower, plus 36 months of 0% interest. Visit thebathauthority.com. That's thebathauthority.com. A better bath awaits.
It's the summer sell down at Performance. Get up to $16,000 off MSRP on new 24 Jeep Wranglers and Grand Cherokees during the Make This the Summer of Jeep event. Performance, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Georgesville, and Delaware.
Not valid on previous sales. Cannot combine offers. Must take delivery from dealer stock 8/20 to 8/31/24.
Hey guys, it's Timmy Hall, and the sports book at Hollywood Casino Columbus is the place to watch home and away games. So make it your football headquarters and catch every game on 2 massive TV walls with over 12,000 square feet. That's big. And you can join our weekly watch parties with your favorite fan talent. Game-winning bites include nachos, burgers, wings, and more. So this season, make Hollywood Casino Columbus your home for football. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER for help. Must be 21 to enter.
Picture this, the perfect summer barbecue. No stress, no responsibilities, just all your friends, burgers and hot dogs on the grill, and a delicious, refreshing Pepsi Zero Sugar in your hand. Sounds nice, doesn't it? Burgers sizzling, hot dogs cooking, Pepsi Zero Sugar fizzing, and a backyard of very, very happy people. Oh yeah, we could get used to this. Very, very used to this. Pepsi, the official beverage of Grills Night Out.
Open a Platinum Rewards Visa at Kemba Financial Credit Union and secure super low everyday rates so you can pay down debt faster. Apply now at Kemba.org to unlock 2% cash back on purchases for a limited time and pay 0% interest for a full year on balance transfers plus exclusive perks. Restrictions apply. Offer ends October 31st, 2024.
There's nothing like having Common Man and T-Bone resting on your bosom.
Oh, for someone with no breasts, you've done very well for yourself.
Gross. Pick up the latest T-shirt in the fan store or pick up merch from a show you actually like. We even have Ohio State and jacket stuff. Head to 971thefan.com.
And what is it called?
A ceiling fan.
And where is it?
It's on the floor.
And why is that a problem?
Well, see, the person who named it probably should have called it a floor. No, that's not right. The guy on TV I saw put up a ceiling fan.
Are you a TV star, Paul?
No, I'm not.
Are you an electrician, Paul?
I am not.
You are?
I am a middle management accountant, and I shouldn't be putting up ceiling fans.
You should.
Call the pros who knows.
Apex Pros.
The pros who knows know electrical work, too. Hi, it's Alex from Apex Pros. And if you'd like us for plumbing, cooling, and heating, you're gonna love our pro electricians.
Apex Pros are on the way.
Much easier, isn't it?
I'm glad we sorted this out.
Me too.
Columbus loves the pros who knows. Schedule with one click at apexpros.com.
When you switch and save with Progressive, you could use that money towards golf lessons to become a scratch golfer. Progressive cannot guarantee that you will ever become a scratch golfer. Scratch golfers are really, really good. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds on average, and sure, you could put that money towards lessons, but if you can't hit the broadside of a barn and think you're going to become a scratch golfer, you're delusional. Sorry, just telling it like it is. Savings? Maybe. Scratch golfer? Don't hold your breath. Switch and see if you could save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance and Affiliates. Not available in all states. It's universally accepted that golf is hard. Progressive cannot guarantee improved performance on the course.
You know, as they say, one person's personal information is another person's treasure.
Exactly. That's why I use NordVPN every time I surf the web. Features like Threat Protection Pro's safeguard devices from phishing websites and disable intrusive ads and trackers. Just check NordVPN.com, grab the deal, and see for yourself. NordVPN. Cybersecurity built for every day.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Rothman and Ice present Breaking Down the Browns with Tyvis Powell.
Sponsored by the Roofing Guys. For all your roofing, siding, and gutter needs, contact the Roofing Guys at theroofingguys.com.
We're back in business. Back in business, breaking down the Browns with our guy, Tyvis Powell, national champ, the people's champ.
Oh, man.
T, how we feeling today?
You know what? I'm feeling good. Y'all know? Good. I am a little nervous because it's cut day, and I've been in the situation of a lot of these players where if you get that call before 4 p.m., it's like your whole world gets flipped upside down. So I've been there. I feel for those guys, but I've also been one of those guys that haven't got the phone call. It made the 53, and that's the best feeling in the world.
Yeah, man, I can only imagine. So, yeah, it's an unfortunate day for some guys, but on the other side of that, as you laid out, hey, dreams are coming true for some of these guys in the NFL. So we had some news coming out of Cleveland this morning, Tyvis, in that quarterback room, and it looks like Dorian Thompson-Robinson, he's been informed that he's going to make the 53-man roster, and now it sounds like Jameis Winston and Tyler Huntley could be on their way out via trade. What are your thoughts on this move by Andrew Berry and company?
Well, I mean, I always liked DTR, and I think that organization likes DTR. And if you watched him in this preseason, it's been impressive. And even though his first start against Baltimore was bad, you can see that he started trending up. In that Pittsburgh game and in that Denver game before he got hurt, he was trending in the right direction. It looked like things were starting to click for him. So I think they truly do view him as a true backup quarterback. However, the trade value, they probably tested the market and seen that his trade value wasn't that high. But maybe you could flip Jameis or Tyler Huntley in for a 6th or 7th round pick. Personally, I wouldn't trade Jameis. I think last year kind of gave you that idea that you should probably keep that veteran quarterback that has some experience dealing with some of the injuries that you've dealt with last year. But if somebody wants to give Cleveland a 6th or a 7th round pick for Huntley, I think you do that deal every day.
All right. Well, I was a little bit surprised, Tyvis, because I thought that Jameis Winston might have been a nice little security blanket if things don't go well with Deshaun Watson this year, in both the terms of how he plays and his health. Where is your comfort level with the Deshaun Watson we're going to see in 2024?
Well, I'll tell you what, I just got done talking with Zach Jackson of The Athletic, and he said that it didn't look good in preseason and training camp. He watched a lot of training camp. I think he was there almost every day that the media was there, and he was not impressed with the offense or with Deshaun. So I'm a little worried about that news. But me personally, I think Deshaun's going to have a bounce back year. He just got to find that confidence. He's got to get back to where he was for that second half of that Baltimore game, and it's going to take some time. Listen, this offense, they haven't practiced together. The offensive line hasn't practiced together at all in preseason, and it's only been about 3 practices where Deshaun was able to throw to Jerry Jeudy, Amari Cooper, and Elijah Moore at one time on the field together. So there's some growing pains there, and they got to figure this thing out because Dallas is coming in ready to go.
We're breaking down the Browns with Tyvis Powell right here on The Fan. He's on via the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Tyvis, let's talk about this running back situation. Yesterday, news came out that Nick Chubb's going to start the year on the PUP list, which means he has to miss at least the first 4 games of the season. Your thoughts now on that running back room, the guy or guys that you were expecting to be key contributors right out of the gate?
Well, I mean, I think they're going to start off with Jerome Ford as being RB1 because he was there last year, and he had some up and down moments. He made some plays. And the thing that gives me a lot of hope with Jerome Ford is that if you go back and look at his top 5 plays from last year, 4 of them came out of the spread, which is something that he did in college, which is something that I think that this offense is going to look a lot like this season. So he makes the most sense for being the RB1. I think Deontay Foreman is perfect for short yardage and goal line situations. You think about his first preseason game against Green Bay. When they got down to the 1-yard line, he was the guy that came in. Took him 2 times to get in, which he was upset about, which he spoke about after the game. But you can see that he's the obvious choice for that. And I think there's some productivity there for him. Obviously, him being back with his running back coach, Deuce Staley, who was his coach in Carolina when he was doing a really good job at running back. I think that plays a part into it. But I think it's just the running back by committee. Those 2 guys got to find a way to get it done.
Tyvis, I got another one about the passing game. When you look past Amari Cooper and David Njoku, Who is going to be behind those two guys for the Cleveland Browns in the receiving game?
Well, it better be Jerry Jeudy the way that they paid him. I think that's the thing, Tim. They went into this season with the same question marks that they went into last season with. You got your two. As a matter of fact, they got two now because David Njoku wasn't a sure thing last year. But Amari Cooper is the most consistent thing. But what does it look like after him? And I think if you paid Jerry Jeudy all this money and paid him early, you got to find a way to feature him. So I think we're going to see a lot of him getting some action. And I think the fact that Elijah Moore is playing for a contract, maybe not with the Cleveland Browns, but with 31 other teams next year, he's going to be extremely motivated to be productive. I don't know what it's going to look like. From what I've heard, practice has been a lot of short, quick, and easy throws. So these receivers are going to have to make a man miss and get a lot of yak yards.
What are your thoughts about a couple of these new-look linebackers in Jordan Hicks and Devin Bush coming in? We know Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is just an absolute beast flying around on the second level, and he got rewarded with an extension this year. But Hicks and Bush, where are you at with those guys and what we can watch from them or will be watching from them starting next week?
Well, Jordan Hicks is the captain. I mean, he was with Jim Schwartz in Philadelphia, I think, when they won the Super Bowl. So he is essentially a coach on the field. You know, he's an older guy. I think he's 31, maybe 32. So he's seen a lot of football. What I like about Jordan Hicks is that he's going to make sure everybody's lined up and everybody's going to have their assignments correct. And you need that guy. You need that general. He's probably going to wear the green dot, so he'll have a direct conversation with Jim Schwartz on the sideline. But I think that his leadership is going to be huge for that defense. When you talk about Devin Bush is more of a special teamer right now. I think he made a couple of plays, in preseason to show that he could play linebacker. I mean, he was a former first-round pick, so it's in there somewhere. But I think he's going to be a huge special teamer to start the year off.
Tyvis, you mentioned how it's cut day, and this day gives you the wiggles and not the good kind of way because of how many times you've been on the receiving end of that. But the best story you ever told was when it was cut day, and it was also the day you're going to throw out the first pitch at a Cleveland Indians game. And you got cut, but you still did it anyway.
Yeah, it wasn't one of my high. It was like a low moment, but I also got to do one of the coolest things in the world. I mean, how many people can say they threw out a first pitch? So, yeah, that happened. Browns cut me at about 10 o'clock in the morning. The game, I think, was a 1 o'clock game. Went out there through the first pitch, signed some autographs for Ohio State fans, and it was a good day. People asked me about how the Browns was going to be. I kept everything positive. I think we ended up going 0-16 that year. So, yeah, that was that.
They could have used you is what you're saying. They made a wrong decision. They made the wrong decision cutting the people's champ in Tyvis Powell.
They did what was best for them at that moment, and I respect it.
Oh, it really worked out for him, didn't it?
Yeah,
0-16 that year.
He's Tyvis Powell, the former Buckeye and national champion. We'll break down the Browns with him every Tuesday at this time. Game number 1 next week at Cleveland. The Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott come to town. T, we appreciate you, man. Talk soon.
See y'all later. Go Bucks, go Browns.
There he is, Tyvis Powell, the former Buckeye national champion. Let me let you know that the Columbus Men's Clinic is the largest and most experienced men's health practice in Columbus. Did you know that their patients average 3 failures with other places before coming to the Columbus Men's Clinic? If you've been waiting to treat your low T or ED, or maybe you had a bad experience with yet another clinic that opened quickly and closed, it's time to get in there and move forward with your sex life, your career, and gym goals. They specialize in seeing guys who think they're out of luck regain hope that they can be successful in the bedroom and beyond. Seriously, go see the team that for 10 years has been #1 in Ohio for men's health. Stop thinking about it and get in there. Call 614-300-7400. That's 614-300-7400. Or go online to columbusmensclinic.com to book your appointment today. columbusmensclinic.com. Coming up in the Buckeye Bulletin, week 1. When you're a 50-point favorite, What will make that successful? Ryan Day will tell you what he's looking for next in the bulletin. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
The Fan is live and local with morning juice, caffeinate, and dominate.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
We're dealing at Reichert Ford.
$2,500 low price guarantee.
With our lowest prices and 72-hour exchange policy, you can't buy the wrong car. Thousands of vehicles are waiting at ReichertFord.com. We're dealing.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio.
Nothing makes being outdoors better than having the right gear and the right crew. So here's an idea. Let Mountain Dew supply the gear and you bring the friends. Because when you buy specially marked multi-packs of Mountain Dew, you can collect points and earn epic limited edition outdoor gear. We're talking everything from custom Mountain Dew camp chairs and backpack coolers to exclusive Mountain Dew tents, fishing boats, and more. So buy Dew, collect points, get gear, and get outside with Mountain Dew outdoor gear.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18 plus. Subject to program terms at dewoutdoors.com and 12/31/24. Void or prohibited.
Coming this Labor Day weekend, Bob's biggest challenge yet. It's time to dare to compare. It's got action. It's got suspense. It's got beeps and boops and dings and whomps and more savings than you'll believe on living rooms, dining rooms, bedrooms, mattresses, and more. And best of all, you get to play too this Labor Day weekend. Now open in Reynoldsburg and coming soon to Polaris. See how much you can save this Labor Day weekend when you dare to compare at a Bob's near you.
It's the summer sell down at Performance. Get up to $16,000 off MSRP on new 24 Jeep Wranglers and Grand Cherokees during the Make This the Summer of Jeep event. Performance Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, Georgesville and Delaware.
Not valid on previous sales. Cannot combine offers. Must take delivery from dealer stock 8/20 to 8/31/24.
Friday night in the Buckeye State means only one thing. High school football, baby. Join Ryan Baker and Coach Lee Cochran for Byers Dublin Subaru High School Overtime.
Friday night at 9:30.
Your home of all things football. The Fan.
Swimming is a great way to exercise and spend time with family and friends. Always swim with a buddy, keep an eye on children, and be prepared in an emergency if there is no lifeguard on duty. The next time you go to the pool, be water smart and know where the safety equipment is located. Complete the Ohio Department of Health Safety Equipment Scavenger Hunt and learn more about pool safety at odh.ohio.gov/swim. Have a safe swim.
We're dealing at Reichert Nissan. Hundreds of Nissans in stock, on the ground, and priced to sell fast. Low lease payments on brand new Reichert Nissan Sentras, only $219 a month. Now we're really dealing. With our lowest prices and 72-hour exchange policy, you can't buy the wrong car. Visit the Reichert Mega Mall off 270 and 33 or shop thousands of new and certified used at ReichertNissan.com. We're dealing.
With approved credit. 2024 Sentra SV FWD 36-month lease with $3,000 due at signing. Offer ends 9/3/24.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text EQUAL to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text EQUAL to 321-321. That's EQUAL to 321-321.
It's almost Football Friday. All play and no work.
Sponsored by Tansky Sawmill Toyota.
Your home for football, The Fan. Rothman and Ice present Buckeye Bulletin.
Sponsored by Logan AC and Heat Services. Feeling the heat? Call the experts at Logan Services now for hot deals on train systems, including 0% APR for 60 months.
All right, Timmy Hall, let's knock out a Buckeye Bulletin. Vegas is telling us Ohio State is a 50-point favorite this weekend against the Akron Zips. It's got to be a weird mental space for, when you know you're Akron, you're just coming in to take an L, especially to start the year. It's got to be such a strange place to be. Like, it's cool.
It really is. I wonder what that experience is like, because you can't just tell yourself that, right?
Right. No,
you know in the back of your mind you're going to lose, but you can't. You have to try to deflect that thought if you're on Akron's roster, right?
And the other side of that coin, too, is you also can't try to convince yourself that you're going to win the game, because, like, you got to be, like...
You have to be kind of Tiger Woods-like, right? We're not too high and we're not too low. We're laser-focused for this. But I get what you're saying. You can't think that you're going to lose, but you also don't want to be cocky and think that you're going to win and say some stuff. You don't want to... imagine being a Akron quarterback, Ben Finley, and you start flapping your gums and you give this Ohio State defense any more reason to try to go out there and put up a flawless performance, because I would think if you're Ohio State, it is all on you, right? It is all on what is in your room and what are you going to do, and that's going out there and playing the most perfect kind of football game you can play. You're never going to be perfect, but it's just the strive to be perfect, and then when that's what you're striving for, then you miss it, that should still look pretty good. And that's what you got to do against these opponents that you're just way better than, because you want to be a smooth running machine by the time that I'll even say it, play that first road game in East Lansing at Michigan State. Don't know how they're going to look this year with the changeover. Coach T-Bone, doing things for them up there. Jonathan Smith. Yep. And then Iowa, your first ranked opponent at the Shoe back on October 5th.
That's going to be the interesting game for me, is that Iowa game. They'll be coming in off a bye week too, so they'll have plenty of time to prepare.
And always have a good defense, State. Right? They have a good defense this year.
Their offense is a major question mark, but they great special teams as well. They always do that. So I don't know.
A healthy Luke Lachey on offense. We know what he can do.
Have they named a starting quarterback yet?
I don't think they have.
It's Caden McNamara.
McNamara's got some competition this year. I don't know if they've finalized that yet.
Both Iowa and Michigan, it seems like, we're still going into Saturday with those two teams still figuring it out. But, when Vegas is telling you that you're a 50-point favorite, you've heard all off season how great you should be. What are some of the things Coach Day we'll be looking for to call game one a success? Here he is on that.
It's not easy, but it's simple. You want as many guys to grade out a champion as possible, 80% or more. And you've heard me talk about that before, but sometimes the best answers are the simple ones. Guys, you graded out, either you did your job or you didn't, 80% or higher. And then that we are the hardest playing team in the country. I mean, that's really, I know nothing's going to be perfect. It's a start. But if our identity is going to be the hardest playing team in the country and we're going to be giving unbelievable effort, we have to put that on film. We got to grade out over 80%. We've got to play really, really hard. And that's what I mentioned to the staff today, and that's what we're going to talk about here in the team meeting at 2:30. And that's what we're going to, really be echoing out through all the week, and then hold them accountable on Saturday. And then come in Sunday, identify what went well, what didn't go well, and continue to bang that drum, also knowing that we're going to have to enhance our scheme as the season goes on.
The biggest thing that you hope for in these type of games, in my opinion, is obviously health, right? Like the next few weeks, this should be a well-oiled machine with what they do. So that's the obvious one, is you hope that you get guys in and out, you get them enough work, they knock off some of that rust. Because let's be honest, when you're going into practice game in and game, or day in and day out against the same guys, you know what the offense is running, you know what you're getting from Jim Knowles and all that type of stuff. It gets repetitive. So just to get that new look from somebody else, I'm sure is exciting. But outside of the health stuff, Tim, just how clean are we going to look on defense, right? When you talk about the tackling and those type of things.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. No blown tackles.
None of that. We're not talking about guys racking up an extra 3-4 yards because guys are whiffing on tackles or blown assignments. And I don't think the blown assignments thing is going to happen. We saw that 2 years ago. For the most part, they got cleaned up last year. And that's the natural progression of guys being in a system and being comfortable with what Jim Knowles wants. This is going to be a veteran team. And I don't think they're going to make a bunch of mistakes. But that's one thing for me, too, is how clean the game is going to look.
That's it. That's the word. Yeah. Clean, I think, is the word for these first 3 games. Because you want, by the time you get into serious football, you don't want to be killing yourself. Mm-hmm. That's the number one thing, right? Like, you will face some teams, and you're going to have the finger pointed at you about the $20 million plus roster. And like you said, when we were talking about who's going to win the Coach of the Year. Well, could Ryan Day win it even if they go undefeated and win the national championship? If it's a natty or bust type of year, right, and that's what the expectation is, then you still want to be able to give the team credit when they do that. But you're going to be in tough games. So when you're in these lesser football games, don't take procedural penalties.
Right.
Let's not have too many false starts. You're going to get an occasional holding now and then because you're putting max effort out. Sometimes your technique's going to get skewed, but easy on the false starts. Let's snap the football well. Let's catch the ball when it's thrown right to your chest. That type of thing. No fumbling and no blowing tackles that are easy to make right in front of you.
I know for some Buckeye fans, the snapping thing's going to be something they watch.
Seth,
right?
had some issues.
And the
last couple games.
The world was watching him, right? Where the snaps weren't too great, where he was down there at Alabama. So I know
you can't have that.
So for Buckeye fans, you want to have that sigh of relief. Like, okay, that's not going to be an issue, right? If we're talking about coming in on Monday, man, there was 2 or 3 of those where it went over Will's head or skipped to him. You're like, okay, like something to monitor. So hopefully that's clean too. Last one here from Coach Day. Here he is on his expectations for Will Howard going into game 1.
Yeah, we want him to run the team and be clean, get us in and out of the huddle, get us up to the line of scrimmage, be sharp, take care of the football. You've heard me say the term, make the routine plays routinely, play well in third down, red zone in 2 minutes. I mean, that's what we're looking for out of our quarterback. But in particular, in that first game, it's, run a clean operation. That's ball security, that's cadence, that's communication, the new headset and how we're doing that. And, we are going to be huddling some and those type of things. Not all the time, but that's a little bit different. And, how are we converting on third downs and, all those things, sideline adjustments. So it's getting into the game, getting a feel for it and playing clean. That's what we're looking for in week 1.
Timmy, one thing I would love to find out about the helmet communication, because I know at 15 seconds you can't communicate anymore. But what I don't know is that an automatic cutoff with the technology?
Yeah, I think it just goes dark.
Okay, and I wonder who has control over that. Like that's
probably automated.
Okay, I'm curious about that. Maybe we can get an answer on that from Austin Ward or somebody. I'm curious how that works. But yeah, that's one of those new wrinkles that Coach Day, Coach Kelly, and Will are going to have to get used to in game action. They've been getting reps and practice with it, but now it starts on Saturday, and Coach Kelly will be up in the box.
Yeah, I mean, in the NFL, what do they have? A green sticker that designates
they call it the green dot. Yeah,
what designates which helmet's got the comms in it, and it's got to be the same way in the NFL, right?
I'm just questions
that we've never asked because we've been watching this in the NFL since we were kids, right?
Yeah.
And you've always had like the QB put the hands on the helmet, right, to muffle the sound so he can.
It was happening in that Georgia Tech Florida State game. It got loud in there. I think it was Haynes King. He had to put his hands over his ears.
We know that look.
No doubt.
We've seen that forever.
No doubt about it. So yeah, that's your Buckeye bulletin for today. But I'm very curious about that. We'll have to ask somebody, Tim, that knows about that exact moment when that 15-second mark hits.
What's that
what
shut
happens?
off?
How does that get?
Maybe we can ask our guest on Friday, Brady Quinn.
You know what? He may know.
It actually starts playing Sweet Caroline in the helmet. And then you have to tap dance and try to get everyone set while, Sweet Caroline is playing for 15 seconds.
Not a bad tune.
Up into the shutoff.
Not bad. Kind of played out at this point.
It's a little bit
it's one of those songs where I'm just like, all right.
They knew it in Munich, though. They took that game to Germany. Yeah. The whole stadium's belting it out. The Germans love Neil Diamond.
We got a deep dive coming at you at the top of the hour. The Athletic. They talked to 50 NFL coaches and executives and ranked every single quarterback in the NFL. We'll roll through that next. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
Wake up with The Fan. Eat lunch with The Fan. Go to bed with The Fan. Dream about The Fan. Then change your sheets. Gross.
Ew, you guys are gross, but stick around in case I don't find anyone else.
The Fan.
Hey guys, it's Timmy Hall, and the sports book at Hollywood Casino Columbus is the place to watch home and away games. So make it your football headquarters and catch every game on 2 massive TV walls with over 12,000 square feet. That's big. And you can join our weekly watch parties with your favorite fan talent. Game-winning bites include nachos, burgers, wings, and more. So this season, make Hollywood Casino Columbus your home for football. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER for help. Must be 21 to enter.
Tire Discounters announces our latest breakthrough, TD Chat BS. This software allows us to detect untruths, deceptions, and even outright lies.
Let's listen in as we call a local car dealer.
Hi, I drive your model of auto or truck. I need servicing.
Oh, that's great. You should always call the dealer for service to make sure your warranty stays intact.
Untruth.
Excuse me?
I can attend at Tire Discounters for all services, even for all manufacturers' scheduled maintenance. Warranty not affected.
But it's only us dealers who really know our own models.
Deception. Tire Discounters ASE technicians are certified experts for all makes and models.
Okay, maybe.
How many dollars do you charge me for? As few as Tire Discounters?
We are not that much more.
Outright lie. Ending call now. Bye. Adios. Aloha. Hasta la pasta.
Don't miss our Savor the Summer sale, now till Labor Day.
This is Paul Keels for Nature Stone Flooring, a unique blend of natural stone and their specially formulated epoxy expertly installed over existing concrete. Nature Stone is the only flooring solution for garages, basements, and indoor spaces. Family owned and operated since 1989, no other company or product can match the features, benefits, and unconditional warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor. Visit naturestone.com today and schedule your cost estimate. Act now and save up to 50% off any Nature Stone floor. It's not just a floor, wow, it's Nature Stone.
I can't believe tax season is here already. Look at all this info I have to enter.
Phil's small accounting firm is growing in numbers.
Why didn't I take that typing class in high school?
A data entry specialist could really help him in a crunch.
I got blisters on my fingers.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
At the Home Depot, we know Saturdays are for college football. That's why we have everything you need to never miss a play. Like North America's #1 home fire safety brand, Kidda. Because on a day full of football sounds you love, like fight songs, roaring crowds, and your favorite commentators.
Like me, Kirk Herbstreit.
The last sound you want to hear is... Defend your game time with Kidda and the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Based on total household installations as of December 2023.
2 hours ago, Kyle arrived at the bar.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
30 minutes ago, Kyle got his friends another round of drinks.
Cheers!
5 minutes ago, Kyle decided to drive home drunk. A minute ago, a law enforcement officer pulled up behind Kyle.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
A chain of events that began 2 hours ago is about to change Kyle's whole world. Drive sober or get pulled over. Paid for by NHTSA.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good afternoon. I'm Ryan Baker. It's game week for the Buckeyes as they host Akron this Saturday at 3:30. Inside the shoe, Ryan Day at his weekly press conference today told us what he expects from Will Howard in week one.
Run a clean operation. That's ball security. That's cadence. That's communication. How are we converting on third downs and, all those things, sideline adjustments. So it's getting into the game, getting a feel for it, and playing clean. That's what we're looking for in week one.
We also found out from Coach that Sonny Styles, J.J. Smith, and Tegra Tshabola will be starters. Chip Kelly will be coaching up in the box rather than down on the field. The Guardians and Reds both in action tonight at 6:40. At Progressive Field, Cleveland hosts the Royals. Down in Cincy, the Reds host the Oakland Athletics. And it's roster cut-down day in the NFL. Teams have to be at the 53-man limit by 4. This one's sponsored by Nature Stone. Schedule your free cost estimate right now over at naturestone.com.
Most shows just skim the surface, but Rothman and Ice feel like the biggest story of the day deserves a closer look. It's time for a deeper dive.
Sponsored by Maxima Concrete. Visit MaximaConcrete.com today to schedule your free estimate.
Welcome back in. Hour number 3 of Rothman and Ice. If you ever miss anything from our show, wherever you get your podcast, type in Rothman and Ice. Everything we do from noon to 3 will be available for you. And don't forget, subscribe to the old Rothman and Ice podcast as well. And CB, if they missed the presser, that will be in the podcast as well. Do I have that correct?
That is absolutely correct. And you can also check it out on our YouTube if you want to there too.
There you go. Look at that. We're all over the place.
The YouTube chat.
It's always popping in the YouTube chat.
That's where it's at. We were talking about chili earlier in the show.
Yeah.
And just so you guys don't know, like when we were talking about the refried beans, we had moved on from the chili discussion.
That was Mexican.
Because Phil says refried beans in chili. What is this? I'm like, no, that's not what that was. We had just then advanced the discussion. Matt just said he doesn't like beans in general. So he also does not like refried beans.
No, can't do it.
We're not putting refried beans in chili. No. That's not happening. That's not what we're doing.
Shout out to everybody in the YouTube chat. We love you, and we see you over there as well. So, yeah, Timmy, it's here. Bottom of the hour. We'll talk to Austin Ward. Day Trippin. We'll get his reaction to a lot of the nuggets coming out of Ryan Day's press conference today with some starters being named on offense and defense and the quarterback 2 spot. A lot to unpack there. You were talking earlier. You asked me to kind of lay out my ideal day and temperature.
Yeah.
For a Saturday. We are entering my favorite portion of the sports calendar. Over the next 2 to 3 months, this is as good as it gets for your boy.
Mm-hmm.
Football season will be in the thick of things. We'll get basketball rolling, both college and NBA. The baseball playoffs will be fading away. We'll get into the World Series and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Jackets will be. It's kind of overwhelming, but I'm here for it.
It's the mixing bowl.
It's a lot going on.
It's the mixing bowl.
But with everything I mentioned with the sports and then the weather too.
Yeah.
This is peak Matty Ice is coming.
Oh man,
in the next couple months. I live for this.
I will tell you, like the other part of my day job now with the Fan working in programming, it gets a little bit anxious because of all the sports that do start to cross paths. Like when you think about what we have here and all the stuff that you can hear on our Fan properties, right?
Yeah.
And whether you throw in Learfield and our relationship with Ohio State, which is typically always going to be here on the big station, on the Fan. But what we got on ESPN Columbus, which is our AM station, 1460, the Fan's HD2. If you got one of those special radios, boop, 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 and then you're hearing it clear as a bell, right? No AM signal.
You've got that in your Lamborghini, I heard, right?
My newest ride is a 16 Nissan, and it does not yet have the HD radio. How sad is that? I bet you got one. You got a Charger or a Challenger out there?
We got the Challenger out there.
Oh, man.
I've named it.
Dom Toretto over here.
Jeez. Must be nice.
God, right? It's not for me. It's for my family.
I've named it Drogon. One of the dragons from Game of Thrones. So shout out to Khaleesi. I've named my car after one of her dragons. Drogon was my favorite dragon.
I do appreciate that. That's a good car name. But we got jackets coming in.
Yeah.
So we've got them. We still have crew season. I know we don't have the crew on, but we still have the crew that are in their season, and they're coming back from winning the League's Cup, and they got a game tomorrow night. So they're still, it seems like the MLS year never ends, or when it ends, it starts a month after that.
Right.
Buckeye basketball is coming here in October. I know they're going to have an exhibition game, as crazy as that is.
Right.
It's going to be a big exhibition game, too, from what I'm hearing.
What game is that again?
It's going to be a big exhibition game, from what I'm hearing.
To be determined.
Yeah, you'll like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm in. Can't wait to hear that.
You folks will like it. I can tell you that.
Should be an exciting year for them. Yeah, like all these sports coming at us at one time. It's kind of like the scene in Avengers Endgame where everybody's popping up.
all the superheroes.
Everybody's just assembling,
opening.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I feel about what's
Thursday
going on
night
here.
football. I mean, we got the college football week 0, then a big week 1, and then Thursday night opener for the NFL pops up here.
And just all these games too, Timmy, they're all over the place, and I still don't have a great handle on NBC and CBS and Amazon and just
I know what you mean. Yeah. Where's everything going to be?
It's going to be crazy. It's going to be hard to keep up with. So we'll remind, I'll remind myself, and we'll all work together on that, because I think we're getting NFL Christmas games on Netflix this year. And
wow.
It's a lot. Big Ten games will be on CBS and the Big Ten Network. So it's how
many Peacock games do you think Buckeye football is going to get this year?
Oh, I mean,
probably 2, right?
Say 3,
maybe 3,
2 or 3 of those games too. So it's great. Like, we live in an amazing time as sports fans with just the access and everything that we get. But as far as keeping track of everything, it's not as simple as it used to be. But I ain't going to complain too much, because this is, like I said, one of the best times of the year for all of us, and it starts on Saturday.
You know what I wish? I wish that college football, and again, I don't want to make it into the NFL. I think some people, want it to stay, did not want the 12-team playoff because they want to feel that clear separation between college football and the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, there's no putting the genie back into the bottle, because, again, if it's a money thing, well, I think that comes down to fairness. But what I want is for kick times. I would like to have more kick times at the start of the season. We basically have a couple, and then you have to keep waiting until almost a week out from the game. I like the way the NFL just comes out of the gates,
coming out hot,
and
too.
Establishes all of your times. I mean, there's maybe some flex scheduling now late in the season. Are we still doing that in the league? But for the most part, you get to know. You can plan out. Like, if you want to go to a game later in the season, you're like, oh, the Bengals are playing at 1:00 on this Sunday. And that's really not going to change.
A lot of TBDs on that Ohio State schedule.
Too many TBDs.
To this point. There's a bunch of
3/4 of the schedule is a TBD for the kick time. I just like to know.
That's fair.
I like to know what we're doing, where we're at. I don't. You can pick a kick time that I don't like, but just pick the kick time. Right. Let's go with it. And I know that's all got to do with TV partnerships.
Is this program Timmy talking a little bit here too with some of the stuff you got to do? Is that what's coming out here? I think that's what's coming out here.
Certainly would help.
But to your point,
certainly would help.
Tim, you're not wrong, man, because right now there's 3 times that are set.
That's it. 3 times. The first 2 and then the Michigan game.
That's
right?
all we got.
And no, the Oregon game got settled. Did it not? That's got to be a 7:30.
I do remember
it's
hearing
not official, but the reason why that went national, I think a week or so ago, was because Joel Klatt went on Colin Cowherd and said that.
Well, it makes sense, doesn't it?
We got to have
the Oregon game was not going to be anything other than a primetime kick. It's one of the top 3 games of the season in college football.
I think the very big, easy assumptions right now with the big games is obviously Ohio State, Michigan's been announced as a noon game as usual. But as we mentioned, the Oregon game probably being that 7:30 NBC game, and then Penn State, it's shaping up to be a big noon again, like it was 2 years ago.
World Series coming into the fray for that one. I think
that's what it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think we were looking at in the offseason even how that Penn State road game might not be able to be a prime time flex to give them that full effect of the whiteout,
and they already announced their whiteout game as the Washington game, I believe, for them.
Interesting.
They should still do a whiteout against the Buckeyes, though. That'd be silly not to.
It's what we deserve.
Whatever time of day it is, I would still do a whiteout for the biggest game I have.
That's what we deserve as college football fans. That scene is incredible. I'm absolutely with you on Oregon. Let's start that game at 7 our time, 4 their time. First half, we'll get a nice little sun. The sun is out, sunset into the 3rd and 4th quarter. You're right, Tim. That's one of those games of the year. I mean, that we'll get I think Michigan and Texas is next week. Those brands getting after each other, with Texas coming up to Ann Arbor.
Absolutely.
So you're talking about some huge games, man.
Huge game. And just when you look at the additions now, again, things you got to remember with all these teams that pop in from the Pac-12, you also have Texas and Oklahoma saying bye-bye to the Big 12. And they jump into the SEC now. And we were just talking about, Florida's schedule earlier, where they have 8 ranked opponents. Yeah. And stuff can change, but it's all relative, right? Like you look at Ohio State's schedule to start the year, they just have 4, a round number. And Ohio State's schedule is not even seen to be all that fierce in the grand scheme when you look at strength of schedule. And when you look at Oregon on the road, Penn State on the road, and then Michigan, that's pretty top heavy. I mean, those are 3 pretty tough football games right there, 3 top 10s.
And you mentioned the change to college football, and specifically like down in the SEC. I think we could be looking at a team like Georgia, who we see with our own eyes is one of the elites with the talent that they have.
For sure.
But their record tells us that they're 10-2. Because I just think it's going to be so hard to go through that type of schedule now.
Undefeated.
Unscathed.
Right.
I mean, when you're talking about Timmy, they got 3 road games at Alabama, at Texas, and at Ole Miss. You're getting clipped in one of those. You just are. It's just going to be so hard to go through that, I think, now with the additions of Oklahoma and Texas and be an undefeated football team. So just times are changing. And look, I get it for some people that are a little turned off by the NIL stuff. And to your point earlier about the expansion and making it feel like the NFL, I mean, to me, it's already a miniature version of the NFL.
You're getting the resume ready for Greg Sankey here. This is it. I mean, this is what Matty Ice is saying right here. We could have 7-8 teams that are in this college football playoff when you think about it.
The SEC and the Big Ten are going to be insane. Those are the 2 mega conferences. Let's be honest. That's where the best football is going to be played. I just think for Georgia, thinking about them now, life is it's tougher for them with the additions of 2 big-time programs and the Sooners and the Longhorns coming in.
Does one of them get 5 in? Not 4, but 5.
I don't think so.
I think they're going to find a way
to get one
to get the SEC a 5 spot,
man,
in this first one.
Man, so
basically gobbling up all of the at-large.
Are we getting a 3-loss SEC team in there? I think that's probably what it would have to be. I would think.
Yeah.
Depending on who those 3 losses are. I mean,
it would likely be someone in the 11 spot because 12 would likely be getting replaced by someone that's ranked. If I'm doing this right, CB, I know you're good with this stuff, but the way the 12 team would work is because that other conference champ would be ranked below 12, but they automatically will get in.
Correct. So you're saying
they would pop out. So if there's another SEC ranked hanging in there at 11, maybe a 2 or 3 loss, like an Ole Miss or something, could still pop in.
People like Ole Miss.
I mean, how many SECs are ranked in the top 12 now?
It's a bunch, man.
There might be more than 5.
It's a bunch.
So if you're just going off of that.
Yeah. It's just, I love the feeling of a new vibe to the sport. Don't get me wrong. I'm not all in, Timmy, on teams that have lost potentially 3 games, having a shot at playing for the title. I don't love that.
Yeah.
But as far as new energy that we have around the sport, I'm absolutely here for it, and we'll get this thing
excited.
going. Yeah, I am too, man. We'll get it going on Saturday for Ohio State. A lot of games on Thursday and Friday, too, so if you're looking for something to watch, especially some Big Ten football, a lot of those teams will be playing starting on Thursday night. Coming up next, we will get into that Athletic article where they talked to over 50, executives and coaches, and they ranked who they think are the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now. We'll do it in Pre-Snap Reads. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
Common Man and T-Bone are idiots. You should listen to them anyway.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan, Ohio's idiot destination.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone for my crew at Valley Ford of Columbus. Looking for a back-to-school ride for your kid? A quality used truck for work? Well, Valley makes pre-owned vehicle shopping easy with certified pre-owned Ford Blue Advantage cars, trucks, and SUVs. All of them feature a minimum 139-point inspection, and they're backed by a 14-day or 1,000-mile money-back guarantee. Get the peace of mind with a pre-owned Ford from Valley. Great selection, great people. Keep on trucking at Valley Ford of Columbus.
Return in 14 days or 1,000 miles, whichever comes first. From original sales date and mileage on bill of sale and returned in same condition as sold. See Valley for all details.
Find savings to celebrate this Labor Day with one stop at Meijer. Pick up fresh from Meijer 80% lean ground beef family pack for $2.99 per pound, limit 5. And fresh from Meijer family pack boneless, skinless chicken breasts for $2.49 per pound. Get a large whole seedless watermelon for $3.99. Meijer chips 3 for $5. And buy 5, save $5 on some additional Labor Day must-haves. Get everything you need to celebrate the holiday and save. Exclusions apply. See all deals in-store or in the Meijer app.
Save big money now at Menards. You need reliable appliances that help you conquer the day. And Menards is your one-stop shop for huge savings on new, energy-efficient appliances. We carry the largest in-stock selection of major appliances starting at the lowest prices and ready to take home today. Menards, America's #1 home improvement retailer for customer satisfaction, according to J.D. Power. Visit jdpower.com for details and menards.com for deals.
Save big money at Menards. Swimming is a great way to exercise and spend time with family and friends. Always swim with a buddy, keep an eye on children, and be prepared in an emergency if there is no lifeguard on duty. The next time you go to the pool, be water smart and know where the safety equipment is located. Complete the Ohio Department of Health Safety Equipment Scavenger Hunt and learn more about pool safety at odh.ohio.gov/swim. Have a safe swim.
Here's a quick listening guide. When something's on The Fan, it's on the station you're listening to right now. If I say something's on ESPN Columbus, it's on 1460 AM and The Fan's HD2. When in doubt, stream it on the Fan app. Thank you and good night.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman for the Bath Authority. It's time to make your bath and shower something you really love. Something so great, your singing in the shower comes from a genuine place of happiness. Don't keep staring at that outdated bath, the mold, the mildew, the broken tiles. Every unit from the Bath Authority is custom built. You choose the premium accents and accessories. Right now, get free installation on your new bath or shower, plus 36 months of 0% interest. Visit thebathauthority.com. That's thebathauthority.com. A better bath awaits.
It's Toyota's national sales event with more all-wheel drive choices than anyone else, including Toyota's lineup of go-anywhere, do-anything trucks, like the powerful new Tundra. Now through September 3rd, you can get a new Tundra with low-rate financing, special leases, or customer cash up to $2,000, depending on model. And the 2024 Tacoma is now arriving at your Toyota dealer with dominating power, legendary capability, and captivating style. Get details at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Now is a great time to schedule a back-to-school dental appointment. Dr. Manny Chopra, president of the Ohio Dental Association, is here to tell us more.
Your child's teeth and gums need the right food, nutrition, and vitamins to grow strong and stay healthy. Help them maintain good oral health by brushing every morning and night, flossing, visiting the dentist twice a year, and developing good eating habits. As kids head back to school, it's important to know that foods and drinks high in sugar, acidity, and other cavity-promoting substances are often low in nutritional value and have the potential to create plaque capable of damaging tooth enamel. A back-to-school dental appointment can diagnose any potential problems and improve your child's oral health. Ohio Dental Association member dentists are located throughout the state, are dedicated to providing the highest quality dental care, and are bound by the highest ethical standards. Ask if your dentist is a member of the Ohio Dental Association so you know you're being treated by the best. To find an ODA dentist in your area, please visit oda.org.
Healthcare.gov is here for you when life happens. If you lost your health coverage because of turning 26, going off Medicaid, leaving your job, or moving, you could be eligible to enroll in new coverage now. And if you need to update your coverage because of marriage or having a baby, you could also be eligible. But don't wait. There's a limited time to enroll. Check your eligibility at healthcare.gov today. Life happens. Get covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Man, is it hot out there today or what? Going 98 degrees for the high. Heat indices closer to 105. Just as hot tomorrow, going sunny with a high around 97. The difference, though, between today and tomorrow is that I do expect a few late day showers or thunderstorms on Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365 is the exclusive online sportsbook of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Rothman and Ice present Pre-Snap Reads.
Sponsored by the Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
All right, let's knock out some pre-snap reads. But before we do that, let me let you know that at Bet365, we don't do ordinary. See for yourself when you sign up today. You get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. I want to lock in on Shohei Ohtani tonight, Timmy Hall. He's taking on your O's. Taking on your Baltimore Orioles. This is a good matchup right here.
That is a good game, man.
Really good matchup.
That's a really good game. And we were getting to that point in the season now, too, where you want to be locking in your spot. If you're leading your division, you want to be winning these ball games. They're becoming more important here. It's late August.
You guys have been duking it out with the Yankees for first place in the AL East, so this is an important series. And
O's are 2 games back here. You're right.
The Dodgers aren't very comfortable. What's the division for the Dodgers looking like? How far back are the Diamondbacks, Timmy? Like 3 games?
Yeah, looking at LA right now, they're
I don't think they're that comfortable.
They're up by 3.
Okay.
They are. Yeah, Dodgers have a 3-game lead, and the O's are 2 games back of the Yankees going into the series.
Massive series for both teams.
Big stuff.
I'm locking in on the mutant himself. He's an X-Men. Give me Shohei Ohtani. He's hitting the dinger tonight. I like the juice on it. Plus 320. He entered the 40-40 club a few days ago. 40 home runs, 40 stolen bases. He's not real. He's the best player we've ever seen. There's nobody that's done what he can do at this level. You're talking about arguably the best hitter in the game, and he can be your ace.
He's pretty special.
He's the guy.
He's pretty special, and I don't feel like there's any new wave of those guys coming up in the game, Shohei's doing it, so we're going to see 3, 4, 5 other guys that are just like him. I'm not so sure about that.
Because he's
not so sure that's going to happen here.
He's a one of one at everything he does. It's not like he's just getting by, doing a lot of these things. He's an elite player. So whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Bet365 is the official sports betting partner of the Cleveland Guardians. Download the Bet365 app today. 21 plus only. Must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And may the odds be ever in your favor.
Real quick, speaking of the Guardians, they take on the Royals with cheese again tonight. And it's getting a little spooky. That's all I'm going to say.
What is the home run race at right now?
I can pull it up for you real quick.
Judge is 10 ahead of Shohei.
So we've got Judge at 51
to 41.
Your boy Anthony Santander.
He's at 38. Gunner's kind of dropped back a little bit. So Ozuna at 37 and Soto. at 37.
And shout out to Jose Ramirez, 6th on this list right now.
That is 33 dingers for Jose, tied with Gunnar Henderson.
I see you, J-Ram. I see you, J-Ram. Let's talk about this quarterback tier ranking article that came out from The Athletic, Timmy, because 50 NFL coaches and executives, they decided to stack these guys up. The panel consisted of 7 general managers, 8 head coaches, 12 coordinators, 12 executives, 8 assistant coaches, and 3 involved in coaching and analytics. So I love this.
Before you tap in, before you tap into that, because I feel like this is something we could bang out pretty quickly, just as 2 dudes that live and breathe the NFL. If you had to quickly spin out what a top 10, like if we both just threw them out on paper,
I can definitely,
what's that look like?
I can definitely hit you.
Mahomes,
I can definitely hit you with the top 4 because it is him. He's the night king. He's the gatekeeper. Mahomes.
In no particular order,
right?
The top 10: Allen, Mahomes, Burrow, right? Lamar.
Yeah, the top 4 of those guys. You see a mixed bag of that for a lot of people. It's Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, Lamar. Splitting hairs with all of them. They're all really, really good quarterbacks. Once you get past those guys. And there's a lot of love for Herbert out in the streets. I know Peyton Manning had him in his top 5 when he was asked about that.
I'm good with Herbert. If we're doing top 10, I think Herbert goes in there still.
And then it comes.
We have Hurts in the top 10?
I like him.
I think
he's coming off a bit of a down year, but I would still have him in there.
What about the body, the whole entire body of work?
I'm in.
I like Hurts.
I'm absolutely in. Then you get to a couple.
Stafford still these days.
That's what I was going to mention, Timmy. It gets a little dicey for some people when you mention the OGs and not Stafford.
It does, but that's the name of the game, right?
And
I think Stafford is still good. Yeah, Rodgers, if he's healthy and he plays, that's me, 8.
I'd slide CJ in there.
I agree. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't think of him earlier. I mean, after Rookie of the Year, I don't know why he doesn't get better. He has to get better.
And for me, give me Dak. I'm in. I got Dak as a top 10 guy.
9.
On my
list. That's 9. Dak is right around. He's hovering there. Then you get into Dak and Goff, right?
Yeah.
With where they are. I'm good. I'll give you Dak.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Here's the 10 QBs right there. Mahomes, Burrow, Allen, Lamar, Herbert, Hurts, Stafford, Rodgers, CJ, and Dak.
So according to these executives, they had Mahomes at 1, Burrow at 2, Josh Allen at 3, Lamar at 4. Stafford and Herbert are tied for 5th.
Okay, all right.
I really can't push back on any of that, especially the top 4. And you got Mahomes, who's just a freak show. Burrow, who's very, very talented, as we know. Lamar's won 2 MVPs, and Josh Allen is just a freak show himself with his God-given talent. You just got to stop turning the ball over, and I think he becomes even scarier. So those 4 guys, that's kind of the Mount Rushmore of the sport right now. That may not change for a while based off of the ages of those 4 quarterbacks. You know, it's like those guys are going to be around for a pretty long time here. And Mahomes he's the new Brady, right? Where you're talking about which one of those guys will be able to pick him off and win the trophy.
I do think that, you base this off of achievements, what you've won, both as an individual with 2 MVPs and then what you've led your team to. I think it's Mahomes and then a big gap and then those other 3. Because
I'm not going to beef with you on that.
I don't know how you wouldn't. I agree. Lamar, Josh, and Joe, I think, are absolutely those next 3. But I think they have to be significantly down from Patrick because we can make a case for all 3 of these guys. Lamar's got to win significant football games, but as an individual talent, he's unbelievable, and he has showed up in games before. Yeah. Big regular season games. He's won in the playoffs now, but winning those bigger games that get you past the AFC Championship, get you to that Super Bowl. Burrow's been to the doorstep, but he's got to stay healthy. He's got to cut back on picks a little bit. He's prone to having that 3 or 4 interception game. I was at that Texans game last year, which was a banger. Yeah. Threw too many picks, or else they could have won that game. And then Josh got to lay off the interceptions, too.
That's it. So you're talking Lamar and Josh have both been to 1 AFC Championship game apiece. Joey B's been to a Super Bowl. But it's all about, can you go into, I like to call it, like north of the wall, in Game of Thrones, where the Night King lives, where the wildlings are. That's Arrowhead Stadium. Can you go north of the wall and come back in one piece and then go on beyond that and go down to King's Landing and take the Iron Throne? That's the challenge in the NFL right now. For some people, a little controversy, maybe 12 through 14. Brock Purdy at 12, Cousins at 13, Jordan Love at 14. Brock Purdy's a guy, I don't know if he gets enough respect, but he's attached to a well-oiled machine. The one guy I can't wait to watch play this year is Trevor Lawrence.
That's a good call.
Where we at with T-Law?
we didn't think about Trevor for this top 10 list.
He
And
wouldn't be on that for me.
He's somebody that with a good season, he could start knocking on that door.
No doubt about it.
And some of those other guys like Love and Purdy that are right there on the fringe, some of the newer guys if Kyler gets back on the horse, how close could he get with Marvin Harrison Jr. joining up? It's interesting. That 10 to 17 spot. There's some really good-looking quarterbacks that have a lot of ability in that group that could fight for their spot next year.
Those are your pre-snap reads for today. We'll come back. We'll go back to Buckeye football talk with our guy, Austin Ward. We'll get his reaction to the press conference and what he's looking forward to watching this season when the Akron Zips come into town with kickoff starting at 3:30. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
If you consider yourself a Buckeye fan, you come to the right place. This is your heritage sports talker and home of Ohio State Athletics, The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Hey, it's Anthony here from my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. Rich is rolling out all of his new Hondas at 2.9% up to 60 months, just not including the Civic Si and Civic Type R, but all the other awesome new Hondas, 2.9%. You love certified? He has the dream deal, 0.99% APR for 36 months on the 23s and 24s, Civics, HRVs, CRVs, pilots, and passports. When you think Honda, you have to visit Germain Honda of Dublin, Sawmill Road, just south of 270.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Welcome to Nada Yada Island.
This season on Nada Yada Island.
You were charging your phone? I waited hours for you.
That's how long it takes.
Join Metro and get a free Motorola Edge that'll charge for the day in 15 minutes. At Metro, there's no activation fees. Only at Metro by T-Mobile.
Bring your number ID and sign up for Metro Flex Plus plan. Offer not available if at T-Mobile or have been with Metro in the past 180 days. Requires 68-watt charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary.
Experience a piece of history this September and pay tribute to those that have served in the Vietnam War. Delaware County Veterans Services invites you to visit the Wall That Heals from September 12th through the 15th at Havner Park in Liberty Township. Witness the official 3/4 scale replica of the Vietnam Memorial in Washington, D.C. The Wall That Heals is free and open to the public 24 hours a day until 2 p.m. on the 15th. For volunteering opportunities and to learn more, please visit thewallthathealsohio.com.
Bishop and Friends.
Parents cheer. They don't boo. They don't fight other parents. They cheer. Yelling at little Timmy because he's not lined up right on the blitz. That ain't it.
Bishop and Friends.
Sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan.
Care Heating and Cooling. When you need a company you can trust, call 1-800-COOLING.
It's the summer sell down at Performance. Get up to $16,000 off MSRP on new 24 Jeep Wranglers and Grand Cherokees during the Make This the Summer of Jeep event. Performance Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, Georgesville and Delaware.
Not valid on previous sales. Cannot combine offers. Must take delivery from dealer stock 8/20 to 8/31/24.
At Take 5, we're faster than you think. That means we'll change your oil and get you back on the road in less time than it takes to get over from the express lane to the exit ramp. Just sit back and relax while our fast, friendly team does all the work. Take 5, the stay-in-your-car 10-minute oil change.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting over 265. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio.
Bob's Discount Furniture is coming to Polaris, and Bob's Discount Furniture wants you to win big this football season. It's easy. Get online and go to 971thefan.com to register to win a $1,000 gift card to Bob's Discount Furniture, so you can watch your favorite football team sitting in your new Bob's recliner or couch this season. Wow. That's $1,000 from Bob's Discount Furniture. All you have to do is register to win on the fans contest page at 971thefan.com. Hurry, contest ends Wednesday, August 28th. See complete contest details online at 971thefan.com.
By the time you're finished listening to this Pepsi Zero Sugar, you'll be 15 seconds closer to kickoff. Stock up now. Bengals game day is so close, you can almost taste it. Bengals watching. Better with Pepsi.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Let's do a little day tripping.
Sponsored by Atlas Butler Plumbing. Call us today at 1-800-FURNACE for all your plumbing and drain service needs. Yes, 1-800-FURNACE works for plumbing, too.
All right, here we go. First day tripping of the year with our guy, Austin Ward, Dotting the I's, the podcast. Does a lot here at the Fan as well. Austin.
He's ready.
Happy game week, man. How are you?
Much better now that it's game week, boys. It's great to be with you. Great to be back into a day tripping segment. Great to be back in the Woody to talk with Ryan Day and Jim Knowles and Will Howard. And it's going to be even better by Saturday at 3:30.
Yeah, man, I'm with you. Talking season is over. Let's get the pads popping. I'm absolutely here for it. Cannot wait. You mentioned Jim Knowles. I want to start on defense, Austin, and talk about this linebacker situation that we have going on because Sonny Styles, he's been named the starting will linebacker. Your thoughts on his transition and that unit and what you think we'll see from them?
Yeah, it's been going great for Sonny Styles, and I don't know that it'll come as a tremendous surprise to anybody who's watched him play football or followed his development going back to high school. I mean, I think you could tell a year ago, and even if people couldn't, it was a fight for him every day just to keep his weight down. He wasn't able, I think, to fill out physically the way that he was always meant to. I think that this guy was destined to play linebacker at Ohio State, and I think that the experience at safety is going to be beneficial for him. Jim Knowles has talked about that. Sonny's talked about that. James Laurinaitis has talked about that. He has seen the picture from a different perspective, and now he can maybe understand, what his role is at will linebacker in a way that he probably would have been able to figure out at some point, but it gives him a little bit of a boost going into this, starting in a new spot Saturday against Akron. Like he looks different, physically. I think the mentality has always lended itself to playing physically in the box, and he's going to lead that way. I think the most interesting part, Maddie, about the rest of that position as it shakes out on Saturday and then maybe even throughout this first month of the season is how they rotate in behind that. And that's not just a conversation for using C.J. Hicks. That this month has been sort of the breakout moment for Arbel Reese he was the third linebacker named by Jim Knowles during this press conference about 2 hours ago. He did talk about CJ being able to be used interchangeably at Will or Mike. There could be some 3 linebacker looks at times, but we'll see what that all looks like. But I think the guy that just continues to get a ton of attention coming out of this training camp is Arbel Reese, and I think that there's a pretty good chance that we're going to see him early on.
Love him. I got to take in one practice this preseason, which is like way less than you, Austin, but he was someone that just popped off the page. Like he was wearing that Guardian cap out there early on, and he just seemed to be hitting at a different speed. And so I do like that guy. I'm looking forward to seeing him. When you talk about Sonny, though, and I would say the defensive back group could still claim him because that's where he came from. But when you look at Caleb Downs and all these other dudes that are going to be in the back end for Ohio State, how do you even sum up into words what these guys could accomplish and what they expect of themselves this year?
I don't know if I have the words. I just think it's bonkers what Ohio State has accumulated in the secondary. I guess that fits. They're bonkers and best in America. BIA. Can we interchange those out? I don't know. Maybe it doesn't work, but it's just they're so good. It's remarkable to watch. I remember sort of when BIA adapted that moniker and started really playing at that level. That was like every spot is an surefire NFL guy that you can picture there a long time. Like that 2016 group was so special, and I think that their work is already done. That 2016 group has come and gone. They've lived their NFL lives. Some of them are still there. But we know what they accomplished. This group for 2024, that journey starts on Saturday. So we know Denzel Burke has already accomplished a ton. Davison Igbinosun has planted those seeds to be potentially a first-round draft pick. Caleb Downs accomplished a ton at Alabama. It's going to be really, really fun to watch what he can do at Ohio State starting on Saturday. And Lathan Ransom, we've seen, in fits and starts when he's been healthy, what a difference maker he can be. Plus Jordan Hancock, who I think is sort of he gets overlooked at times. I think he might be the best nickel defensive back in the country. And you can make a lot of money and a long living in the NFL doing what he can do as well. So, but I only mention that as they're not done yet. They they still have to go out there and accomplish it. I think the pieces are really exciting to me, without question. Like this, the fact that I can put them in a conversation with 2016 at this point tells you, which is not breaking news, how highly I think of them. But what does that look like once they get out there, and how do the pieces all fit together? I think it's going to be exciting to see what they can do for sure.
Austin Ward from Dotting the I's and the podcast joining us here on the Fan via the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Austin, let's talk about Jeremiah Smith. Came out today. He's going to be out there early and often, with the ones and getting plenty of work. For the folks that haven't had a chance to see him at a practice or aren't, on YouTube watching a whole bunch of highlights and those things, what are Buckeye fans in store for when it comes to Jeremiah Smith as a freshman wide receiver this year?
Well, I think that there is a chance that he could be the best wide receiver in America by the end of the year. So I am generally, Maddie, and you know this, I don't like to throw out hyperbole like that for true freshmen. My mentality is always that you don't want to have Ohio State be a program that is looking for instant impact or needing instant impact. This is not a situation where Ohio State's like, well, the best true freshman is going to play because the depth's not there. This guy is as real a deal as I've ever seen at wide receiver coming in. And I'm not bringing that up to even diminish Emeka Egbuka's numbers may well be better. And in fact, I think he's a critical piece of this offense with what he can do as both a rushing threat and receiver. Carnell Tate could well, put up numbers that also jump off the page. And Marvin Harrison Jr. talked about him being ahead of his curve at this time a year ago. Both of those guys are really, really good. But Jeremiah Smith is special in terms of showing up physically ready to do it, the work ethic, given the attention that he had as a recruit. Sometimes you see that come along. It's like, it's going to be easy. Jeremiah Smith is just going to come in or whoever in the past. Like, I have all these accolades. I'm the number one player in the country, and I don't have to work for it. It's never been the mentality. This guy was an Iron Buckeye over the summer. That had never happened for a true freshman. He's going to start on Saturday against Akron. That is also not very common for Ohio State wide receivers. So those two are just facts, and the rest is still speculation for what could be coming down the tracks here. But the things that I've already seen him do in practice, I don't recall ever seeing a true freshman do.
Austin, how was the last round of golf that was in the off season for you? Or are you sneaking it in sometime between now and Saturday?
I would definitely like to get some in on Friday, but I don't know if that will happen. It's going to be a jam-packed week. Being back in the game week mode is awesome. I will be probably swinging the clubs a little bit. We've got our event at the Fairway Columbus on Thursday night for weekend kickoff with Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems. So maybe I can get in a little practice for there. But yeah, I have not, once training camp starts, then the clubs unfortunately take a little bit of a back seat. So
I know
been a couple of weeks for me. I was just waiting because somebody told me that they were going to get a match together at York, with Beam and a partner of my choosing to go out against you, but that didn't happen either. So golf is sort of faded away, and I have to blame you partially for that.
Well, I mean, if you had talked to Beam, if the guy could ever get away for a round of golf, that'd be nice. But we don't need him. We don't need him, Austin. We could just do it.
You tell me. I'll be there.
Maddie, you can fill in for Beam.
I'm ready to go, man. I'm ready to lose about 20 golf balls that day. So you just let me know, and we'll make that happen. Real quick, Austin, we'll get you out of here on this note. Offensive line coming in, rounded into form as well. Tegra Tshabola, he got named as the starting right guard there. I don't think we expect much pushback until maybe Iowa, but your thoughts on that offensive line now?
Yeah, I think look, we spent a ton of time in the offseason saying, well, they need to find their right guard. Who's going to be the right guard? You got an open competition there. I think the interior depth is way better than we were. I'll speak for myself, better than I was giving it credit for, because Carson Hinsman has improved since a year ago. That's a natural progression of an offensive lineman, and he can play both center and guard. We know what Tegra can do. You have Luke Montgomery, who's shown the ability to play both center and guard. You've seen Austin Sarabel, he was long projected at guard. He's also played some at tackle. So these guys have come along in a way that is really important, I think, for the length of the season, but also just the physicality that is required to play at a high level on the offensive line. And Ohio State needs the offensive line to play better than it did, obviously, in the Cotton Bowl, but more consistently than it did throughout the entirety of the year. There were bright spots for all of those guys: Donovan Jackson, Josh Simmons, Josh Fryer, Seth McLaughlin at Alabama. Like they all have the ability to do it, but I've been encouraged by what I've seen. They had a difficult month with the illness that went through, a little bit of minor injuries here and there for Donovan Jackson, but they have, I think, met this challenge in a way that's, I think, got to be encouraging for Justin Fry and Chip Kelly and Ryan Day. Now we'll see on Saturday at 3:30. Step number one is handling business against an opponent that you should push around. So I know that we'll all be watching for that, because if this team wants to win a national title, those guys up front are going to have to be ready to move that line of scrimmage consistently against everyone they play.
No doubt. He's Austin Ward from Dotting the I's and the podcast. We will chop it up with him about everything Ohio State going on at 2:30 every Tuesday right here on The Fan. Austin, we appreciate you, man. Happy game week. We'll talk soon.
All right. Thanks, guys. See you.
Anytime. Austin was on the Bryant and Heating. What am I trying to say here?
Cooling.
Nailed that one.
Is that
Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline? That's what I was looking for.
Is that the same sponsor he said that he had for his own thing?
You go. That's what we got. That's what we got going on here. Chemistry.
Is that right?
That
was the same sponsor, right? That he gave for. Must be nice to have a Thursday night swing league.
Austin's out here balling, man. We'll ball next with Tell the Truth. It's Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
The only radio show Ryan Day listens to when we're holding him hostage, making him listen to a radio show. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. If you need a new roof, but you're not sure you can afford it, no problem. Right now, Able Roof is offering no payments, no interest until 2026 for qualified buyers. Yep, that's the same Able Roof that's been voted the #1 roofing company in Columbus by Consumer Choice Awards 22 years in a row. Want more? Able Roof will give you up to $1,000 off a new roof, siding, or windows. This is a limited time offer, so call Able Roof today.
Call Able for the proof. 444 roof.
Now through Labor Day weekend, 0% up to 48 months or 1.9% up to 60 months on all 2024 and 25 new Lindsay Hondas. Unbelievable savings by offering 0% up to 4 years on every Honda on the lot.
If we don't have it, it doesn't exist.
Plus, talk to us about electric options with up to $97.27 and combined savings with dealer and federal tax credits.
LindsayHonda.com or I-70 in Bryce Road.
With approved credit on select in-stock 24-25 Honda models. Dealer contribution may affect consumer cost.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Let's talk about your sleep, specifically if you're not getting enough of it. If you're feeling groggy all day because you didn't sleep well, that is an awful feeling. I've been there. And if you're snoring when you sleep, well, that could be a big reason why you aren't feeling rested. This fact surprised even me the first time I heard it, and that is as you age, your risk of having obstructive sleep apnea nearly doubles. That's right. You need to find out if your snoring is related to sleep apnea, because if it is, there's actually help available for you right now. Dr. Mark Levy is board certified in the treatment of sleep apnea, and he offers a custom-fitted oral appliance that effectively treats sleep apnea. I have been telling you about this for years. And maybe you've been snoring for years. Now's the time to get this fixed. Plus, most Medicare patients have little to no out-of-pocket costs for this treatment. So you need to stop putting it off. Don't ignore your snore. Get your sleep apnea treated by calling Dr. Mark Levy today at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. Get the life back you deserve. Call Dr. Mark Levy today, 1-800-MORE-SLEEP, or visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com.
Ooh, it's NFL time. My nipples are so hard right now. Anyway, the Ravens battle the Chiefs from Arrowhead Thursday, September 5th.
Sponsored by Roosters, a fun casual joint.
Your radio home of the NFL, The Fan.
That's the sound of a Mountain Dew. And that's you enjoying its refreshing citrus kick. That's a cool breeze suddenly whistling through your hair.
Whoa!
That's you realizing you're now on a mountain.
This is epic!
That's you stating the obvious. That's you stepping up to the plate. That's you winning your kickball game.
Yes! Let's go!
That's you taking another sip of your
Mountain Dew.
Do the Do.
The Columbus Men's Clinic opened in 2014 for guys who get it done. Let's talk, fellas. You solve problems all day at work. You fix your sink when it's broken. But when it comes to ED and low T, it doesn't get done. We get it. You hate going to the doctor, but you're the guy that fixes things. At the Columbus Men's Clinic, there's nothing to fear and no reason to delay. We've been destroying bedroom boredom for a decade. So if you haven't fixed this, call us. When the pills fail, call us. If you feel like you've tried everything, call us. Here, there's hope. From the conventional to the next level. You'll be seen by our friendly, discreet physician who will take the time to listen. Imagine finally taking care of this with no surgery. Imagine going from feeling gray to living life in vibrant color. It's time to be confident. Join the thousands of guys who have found success after walking through our doors. Will you be one of them? Dial 614-300-7400 or go to ColumbusMen'sClinic.com to schedule a $99 male performance consultation, including blood work. Do it for you. Do it for her. ColumbusMen'sClinic.com. Book your appointment now.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from that other window place. And aspiring comedian.
That's fun. What's your best joke?
All right, two windows were hanging out side by side. The first window says, "Sure is a hot day." The other one says, "Ah, a talking window."
That's pretty good, Wilson.
Bet you can't top that one.
Well, at Pella, we don't have the talking windows, but we do have the windows your friends will talk about.
Dang it, that's good.
Get the window that Columbus homeowners rate the leading and most trusted at PellaColumbus.com.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Patriot Air Comfort Systems and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep your home comfortable. The Fan.
Tell the truth with Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Twin Peaks, home of the 29-degree draft beer.
Sometimes the conversation's off air. I wish we could bring them on air, but we can't do that. CB, what do you got cooked up today, Big Dog?
All right, so a lot of talk this offseason has been about the wide receivers that want to get paid and whether they will actually hold out in season. Now, it looks like CeeDee Lamb, he's not going to. Got his deal. Jamar Chase still up in the air. Also with Brandon Ayuk. But with Ayuk's teammate, Trent Williams, it hasn't been covered as much, but it sounds like by a report, he's willing to sit out games if he needs to get his contract restructured. My question to you is tell the truth. Do you think Trent Williams is bluffing if this is real, or will he actually do the holdout?
I don't think he's bluffing, and here's why. He's one of those guys that's in a situation, Timmy, to where he's already been paid a couple times in the NFL.
Oh,
as
he's
a
got a
vet.
lot of money.
So the bank account is booming right now for Trent Williams. So I think he's willing to eat a few of these game checks if he has to get that one last payday in the NFL, because I think he's in his mid-30s, somewhere right around there.
And Trent Williams is actually the athlete for me, where I look at him and I say, haven't you been playing for 24 years?
He's a monster.
Because the way that saga for me personally ended in Washington, I go to his wiki page, he's still wearing a Washington Redskins shirt. Like, that's the stock photo of him on his wiki page. He was there from 2010 to 2019. And then, I don't think he hates the 49ers organization because they kind of got him out of D.C. where he had so many issues with them I think it was related to his health.
His knees or something like that?
It was sort of the team doctors and how he wasn't getting the freedom to take care of himself the way that he wanted to or wasn't done right by them. And it was ugly. So I don't know. I don't know if you're going to see him holding out into the season.
How old is he, Tim?
36. He's still at the top of his game, though.
He's an absolute monster.
It's a big mistake by Washington. Huge, massive mistake what they did.
I'll take him at his word. I think he'd be willing to miss some games because and I just think the difference is with these receivers that we're talking about. You're talking about guys coming off their rookie contracts that haven't made a bunch of money. Like Trent Williams, he's probably made millions and tens of millions of dollars.
Maybe he is more comfortable to do it this late in the game.
Because of his age, right? Late in the game. Yeah. This is his last crack at it, so you got to dig in a little bit. So I'll take him at his word, CB. I don't think he's lying.
You calling me a liar? I ain't calling you a truther.
All right, after the CeeDee Lamb deal was reported last night, there was also a report out there that Dalvin Cook is possibly going to take a visit down to Dallas to look at the Cowboys. My question to you, though, is tell the truth. Would a Dalvin Cook backfield be productive enough for the Cowboys to be able to depend on them for a running game together?
I have to say no at this point. And that, I think, tells you the lifespan of running backs. That I would say no to a Zeke Elliott and Dalvin Cook backfield. Imagine if we were talking about those two in the same backfield 4 years ago. It'd just be the super version of what we have in college football with Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson. But, ask me that 4 years ago, it'd be pretty damn productive, but I don't know what they're going to get from Zeke, and I certainly can't expect anything from Dalvin Cook. He's just bouncing all over the walls right now, trying to get a job.
Dalvin Cook came to my Ravens last year, had a decent postseason run, right? Actually, let me take that back. He came to my Ravens.
He came to the Ravens.
And the smell that
after he was with the Jets.
The smell that came through the TV was Tide Pods because he's washed. It's over. Then yeah, it's done. So that wouldn't move me at all because it smelled like Tide Pods in my apartment when I was watching him run the rock.
Would you eat the Tide Pods?
No, I wouldn't.
You take the challenge?
I would not eat Tide Pods.
With all the TikToking and the YouTubing?
I would not.
Wasn't it like,
No,
I mean, obviously that was a trend that people tried to do, and I think there was like a...
You ate them, didn't you?
No, I did not. But
yeah, you did, you liar.
Wasn't it like Gronk? Or maybe it was like a rumor Gronk was going to do it? I don't know.
I really don't know what you guys are talking about. I missed this. I did not.
It was a very dumb trend by a bunch of like Gen Z kids on YouTube and whatnot.
What are we doing?
Oh, yeah.
That is the question.
Come on, man. No.
You know what happens when you eat one? You die.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a good time.
What a joke, huh?
I'd rather eat refried beans than a Tide Pod. You know how I feel about beans.
I'm with you. I'd rather eat those too.
The truth? It's overrated.
I'm going to use that Tide Pod washed line. I just want you to know that. That was pretty good. Final question for today is a would you rather. Would you rather have no elbows or no knees?
No knees. I got to have these extremities up here.
Yeah,
I got to have my arms and my fingers.
You couldn't run at that point.
That's fine.
Just power walk. You want to power walk?
What couldn't I do without elbows, though? And I have my fingers, but what good is it without the joints? I mean, I need my arms, elbows, hands, fingers operating at optimal capacity. Take my legs before you take my arms.
I'm 100% with you on this. Need the arms. Got to do everything. Got to, wash myself, cook, type, drive.
Anything.
Play
video games.
Yeah. I'm with you. Take my knees.
Just imagine what it was.
Shall set you free.
Before we get out of here for today, if
you could be a good
miss,
ref.
You know what?
Touchdown.
Absolutely. You'd be like at the airport with those, those orange things.
It's true.
Yeah.
Well, you're bending your arms.
You're right.
You got to get them straighter.
That's a good point. Good call there. Hey, if you missed the Ryan Day press conference, breaking down the Browns with Tyvis Powell, or all things Buckeye Talk with Austin Ward, wherever you get your podcast, type in Rothman and Ice. Everything we do from noon to 3. We'll be waiting for you. Don't forget, subscribe to the Rothman and Ice podcast as well. Coming up, Common Man and T-Bone. Everybody's in the building. They'll play some Ryan Day for you. They will react to the Connor Stallions documentary as well. And tomorrow, Schefter 12:33, and then the General Bobby Carpenter stops by to talk all things college football at 1:33. Timmy, appreciate you.
Ice. Football season is here.
Happy game week, folks. We love you. We'll talk to you tomorrow at high noon. It's been Rothman and Ice right here on The Fan.
Big voice guy here to remind you that you're listening to The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds. Bye-bye. This is a Fan Action Update.
Week 1 for the Buckeyes is here. Ohio State starts the season as a 50.5-point favorite over Akron. Ohio State is minus 650 to make the college football playoff this year. Remember, that's 12 teams. And 4-1 to win the national championship. To win the Big Ten Conference, the Buckeyes are plus 145. And the season win total is 10.5 with an over at minus 160 and under plus 130. For your Action Update, I'm Scotty Vegas.
Bob's Discount Furniture is coming to Polaris, and Bob's Discount Furniture wants you to win big this football season. It's easy. Get online and go to 971thefan.com to register to win a $1,000 gift card to Bob's Discount Furniture, so you can watch your favorite football team sitting in your new Bob's recliner or couch this season. Wow. That's $1,000 from Bob's Discount Furniture. All you have to do is register to win on the fans contest page at 971thefan.com. Hurry, contest ends Wednesday, August 28th. See complete contest details online at 971thefan.com.
Open a Platinum Rewards Visa at Kemba Financial Credit Union and secure super low everyday rates so you can pay down debt faster. Apply now at Kemba.org to unlock 2% cash back on purchases for a limited time and pay 0% interest for a full year on balance transfers plus exclusive perks. Restrictions apply. Offer ends October 31st, 2024.
It's the summer sell down at Performance. Get up to $16,000 off MSRP on new 24 Jeep Wranglers and Grand Cherokees during the Make This the Summer of Jeep event. Performance, Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Georgesville, and Delaware.
Not valid on previous sales. Cannot combine offers. Must take delivery from dealer stock 8/20 to 8/31/24.
Hey, it's Anthony for the Good Feet store. 3 words for me: pain-free summer. Spent probably 30 hours walking around the Memorial Tournament and felt awesome with my personal arch supports from the Good Feet store in my everyday kicks. Sure, every now and then we all get random foot pain from pickleball or golf or just being a human being. Having my personally fit arch supports in my shoes has made a massive difference. And even right after I put them in, didn't take long to feel much more supported and aligned, and it's so easy to just move them into any pair. Before I had them, I dreaded being on my feet for any length of time. Well, you have nothing to lose but the pain, as they say. It's a free fitting and test walk. Try them for yourself. See the difference it can make. It did for me. And best of all, you can wear them home. 2 locations on Polaris Parkway and Stringtown Road, or schedule an appointment at goodfeet.com. The Good Feet Store, America's arch supports experts.
Experience a piece of history this September and pay tribute to those that have served in the Vietnam War. Delaware County Veterans Services invites you to visit the Wall That Heals from September 12th through the 15th at Havener Park in Liberty Township. Witness the official 3/4 scale replica of the Vietnam Memorial in Washington, D.C. The Wall That Heals is free and open to the public 24 hours a day until 2 p.m. on the 15th. For volunteering opportunities and to learn more, please visit thewallthathealsohio.com.
This is Paul Keels for Nature Stone Flooring, a unique blend of natural stone and their specially formulated epoxy expertly installed over existing concrete. Nature Stone is the only flooring solution for garages, basements, and indoor spaces. Family owned and operated since 1989, no other company or product can match the features, benefits, and unconditional warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor. Visit naturestone.com today and schedule your cost estimate. Act now and save up to 50% off any Nature Stone floor.